As the regular season gets closer and closer to its conclusion, with just 5 games left for the Wranglers, every game from here on out is super critical and important, and we've got another one on tap here on a Friday night in the North American Hockey League as the Wranglers head to Odessa for the second game of a 3-game set between the Wranglers and the Jackalopes. Hi everybody, Guy Chiarenza with you here tonight. It's another big one for the Wranglers. What else is new? The Wranglers have been playing must-win hockey over their last couple of weeks, and so far they've fared well. Points in 3 straight games. The Wranglers now, make that 4 straight games. The Wranglers now in another must-win situation after setting themselves up for success with a big win last night. As the Wranglers enter the matchup with a record of 21, 28, 2, and 3. 47 points on the season has them sitting in 8th place in the South Division, just 6 points out of the playoff picture. Odessa enters the matchup with a record of 23, 28, 4, and 0. Their 50 points on the year had them sitting in 7th, as they are 3 points back of the playoff picture. Currently occupying the final spot in the South are the Colorado Grit with 53 points. They are in New Mexico this evening, and so both teams on the ice here in Odessa tonight are hoping that the Ice Wolves can take care of the Grit in regulation. And then that would mean the winner here tonight would have a leg up in the playoff race. Last night, it was the Wranglers getting that big boost as they defeated the Jackalopes here 4-1. For the Wranglers, it was the second time this season that they scored 3 or more second-period goals. That ties a season high for most goals in a second period this year, which they did against the Jackalopes prior in the season back in November. That was a season high where the Wranglers scored 4 in a single period. But Amarillo, the big boost of offense, got the job done, and it was Ty Izadi that scored 2 goals for his first career multi-goal game that led the way. So a scoreless first period produced a big boom for the Wranglers in the second. Izadi strikes first, 5:33 into the middle frame to give the Wranglers a 1-0 lead. William Larson strikes about 10 minutes later to make it 2-0, and then just before the end of the period, it's Izadi again with 22.4 on the clock to make it 3-0 Wranglers through 40. Amarillo was surging. Odessa tried to stop him. They could not do it. Not even a goal from Gage Martel with 12:38 left on the clock could do it, as Noah Wood put the cherry on top with an empty net goal with 2:13 left in the third to help the Wranglers to their victory. And as I mentioned, the Wranglers now picking up points here and there. Watch out for these Amarillo Wranglers. They are just 6 points out of a playoff spot, and they have points in 4 straight games, dating back to March 16th against the Lone Star Brahmas, an overtime win. Wranglers followed that up with another overtime win in Colorado, lost in overtime the next night, and then won in regulation yesterday to put themselves still alive in the playoff picture. Charles-Antoine Girard was phenomenal yet again. He stopped 27 of 28 for his second straight victory. Wranglers power play didn't score last night, went 0 for 3, but the penalty kill continues to get it done for Amarillo as they were a perfect 4 for 4. Watch out for the Wranglers PK here tonight. You don't want to see them out there, but if they do have to go out and make a stop, chances are they're going to do it. Wranglers PK is perfect in 4 of its last 5 games, including last night. No, by the way, the only time that the Wranglers penalty kill surrendered a goal over that span, it was a 5-on-3 goal in Greeley last weekend. So the Wranglers penalty kill has been playing really, really good, and the Wranglers defense shut down a high-octane Jackalope offense, as it was just the 5th time the Jackalopes this season were held to 1 goal or less at home. And the lone goal did come from Gage Martel, who is the only active Jackalope with a point streak coming into tonight's game. 2 goals and 1 assist in his last 2. As William Carpet was the goaltender for Odessa last night. He stopped 25 of 28 in the loss. And so the Wranglers are heating up. They were able to snap a couple of Jackalope point streaks as Caden Giosi, Jordan Larkey, Cohen Belsterling, and Charlie Smith were all held without a point last night. So the Wranglers defensively have really rounded a corner of the last couple of weeks. They're going to need more of that here tonight in Odessa, as this is a Jackalope team that throughout the most of the year has been able to score. The Wranglers, though, seem to have found their scoring touch, as some of these Wranglers are heating up, baby, right down the stretch at the right time. Alexander Oleslov had an assist last night in his first game as the Wranglers' alternate captain. He has 3 goals and 2 assists in his last 3, so look out for the Swedes, as William Larson, who had a goal last night for the Wranglers, is in the middle of a 5-game point streak. 2 goals, 3 assists for Larson in that span. Watch out for those two on a line with Mark LaFrance here tonight. Daniel Rasega notched an assist. He has 1 goal and 1 assist in his last 2. Noah Wood with the goal in the empty netter has a 1 goal, 1 assist point streak in his last 2. And Jake Boulanger playing quite well on the blue line despite being known as a natural forward. Boulanger hops on the back end in Greeley. Has played the last 3 games there. He'll get the start on the back end tonight for the Wranglers with Heikki Paipanen. Boulanger has 1 goal and 1 assist in his last 3. And so with that, let's get to tonight's starting lineups between the Wranglers and the Jackalopes. We'll start with Odessa, as getting the start at left wing is number 10, Caden Giosi, standing at 6'1", 185 pounds, the native of San Jose, California. It's been a good goal scorer for Odessa this season. 14 goals, 15 assists for 29 points in 54 games this season. Had a 3-game point streak snapped last night. 3-game goal-scoring streak snapped last night. In fact, Giosi will look to get back to his scoring ways here tonight, as his starting center is number 15, Jeremy Jacobs. Standing at 5'10", 170 pounds, Jacobs is a native of West Chester, Pennsylvania, as he currently is one of the team leaders in plus-minus as a +13 with Hunter Toms. Jacobs has 35 points in 54 games this season to the tune of 13 goals and 22 assists. His starting right wing is number 21, Nicholas Arrington, standing at 5'10", 176 pounds, the native of Lincoln, Nebraska. We'll round out the Jackalope starting forward group, as Arrington has 7 goals and 12 assists for 19 points in 44 games in his first season in the Permian Basin. Getting the start at left D for Odessa, Gage Martell, wearing number 7, stands at 5'11", 169 pounds. Native of Bismarck, North Dakota, is the only Jackalope entering tonight that has an active point streak going, as Martell has 2 goals and 1 assist in his last 2 because he was the goal scorer for Odessa last night. He has 10 points in 44 games on the season. His starting D partner is number 3, Shea Barry, standing at 6'2", 194 pounds. The native of Carmel or Caramel, Indiana. Not quite sure how you want me to say it, but that's up for dispute. But what's not up for dispute is how well Barry has been playing this season. He has 13 points in 48 games, been a solid defenseman for Odessa after coming over from the Phoenix Junior Coyotes. And starting in between the pipes for Odessa tonight is number 33, Aries Karanji, standing at 6'5", 205 pounds. The native of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, will be making his first start since March 2nd in Corpus Christi. The last 7 games have gone to William Carpet. He did make an appearance in the 8-4 loss to Corpus Christi on Saturday in relief of Carpet, as Karanji has played 13 games this season with a 3-8 record, a 4.24 goals against average, and an .869 save percentage. He will look to get back on track here tonight against a Wranglers squad that is hungry and needs a win to continue to push forward the playoffs. The Jackalopes are led by head coach Scott Thur, and the assistant coach is Marquise Cotton. And now let's get to the starting lineup for your Amarillo Wranglers. Getting the start at left wing, the phenom from Lithuania, number 19, Kirill Evshinev, standing at 5'11", 170 pounds. He has been money for the Wranglers since coming over from New Hampshire, as Kirill on the season has 14 points in 30 games, had a perfect 7 goals and 7 assists, even across the board for Kirill, as he has 6 goals and 4 assists in 14 prior games with the Wranglers. And watch out for him, 2 assists in his last 4. His starting center here tonight is another one of those newcomers, standing at 6'5", 190 pounds. Wearing number 3, it is Cole Satterdahl, the native of Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Satterdahl was acquired just a couple of weeks after Evshinev, and he has 8 goals and 14 assists for 22 points in 48 games this season. Came over in a trade from Aberdeen and has been money. 5 goals and 6 assists in his last 16 with the Wranglers. 1 goal and 1 assist in his last 4. He'll be the starting center here tonight, as getting the start at right wing, one of the newest Wranglers, number 15, Trevor O'Donohue, standing at 6 foot even, 170 pounds. The native of Pinckney, Michigan, signed a tender with the Wranglers earlier in the season, was with the club during training camp, ended up playing for Big B Coffee, had a spectacular season over there. Now getting some time in here as the Wranglers' regular season comes to a close, and he's been really, really good. I've liked what O'Donohue's been able to do. 1 goal in his first 3 games in a Wrangler uniform. We'll see if he can add to that here tonight on that line with Evshinev and Satterdahl. Starting at left defense, it's number 6, Heikki Paipinen, standing at 5'11", 194 pounds. The Finnish defenseman will be paired up with number 10, Jake Boulanger, standing at 6'1", 180 pounds. And that is a pairing that we saw come to fruition in Colorado last weekend. Coaches really like that pairing. They get the start here tonight as Boulanger, with the assist last night, now has 1 goal and 1 assist in his last 3. And getting the start between the pipes for the Wranglers is number 33, Matt Shepoister, standing at 6'3", 181 pounds. The Minnesota man has been one of the big catalysts to the Wranglers' surge towards the playoffs, as he and Gerard have been consistent in net since he came to town. Shepoister, with a record of 11-9-0-1, a 2.65 goals against average, a .914 save percentage, and 2 shutouts on the season, will lead the Wranglers between the pipes tonight. And he has been excellent with the Wranglers since coming over. Tonight will be his 11th game with Amarillo. 5-4-1 record with the Wranglers, 2.5 goals against average, .917 save percentage. Last time we saw Shepoister, it wasn't a losing effort in overtime, but man, was it a great one, stopping 39 of 43 in a 4-3 overtime loss to Colorado last Saturday. Shepoister looks to get back in the winning column, and the Wranglers will look to make it 2 in a row in a must-win matchup here in the Permian Basin. Wranglers wearing blue jerseys with white numbers and professional red trim will skate from left to right to start play this evening. Jackalopes wearing white jerseys with red and purple trim will skate from right to left, as that'll conclude the Austin Hose pregame show here from Odessa. Coming up next, the national anthem, and when we return, first period puck drop between the Wranglers and the Jacks. We are all set and ready to go from Ector County Coliseum, home of the Odessa Jackalopes. For the 7th time this season, the Wranglers and the Jacks will square off. It's the second game of a 3-game set. Amarillo's got to have it to stay alive in the playoff race. With a loss in regulation, they would not be mathematically eliminated, but it would basically have to be a win every single game from here on out afterwards type of situation if they don't. Pretty much the same thing for Odessa, although their odds are just a little bit better, just 3 points back of the playoff picture, as the Wranglers are 6 back. It's a high-stakes game in the Permian Basin, and we're happy to have you with us here on NATV or YouTube here on this fine Friday night in the North American Hockey League. Cole Satterdahl will take the opening face-off against Jeremy Jacobs. Mr. Matthews is our referee here tonight. Puck is dropped, and away we go from Odessa. Evshinev will skate it in off the face-off victory down to the near corner. Thunderous check right off the rip as Jacobs gets checked by O'Donohue. Odessa does the puck. They'll pump it around to the far corner of the Wranglers zone, where Arrington gets pinned up by Paipinen. Puck leaks free along the wall. Odessa looks to center, picked off by O'Donohue, and he skates up ice. He'll gain the red line and tip it into the attacking end, working with Evshinev, who takes a return check this time from Barry. Kiosi now takes the puck in the neutral zone, and he is upended by Boulanger. Weight is being thrown around here in the opening minutes as Shepoister plays the puck. Lurking there was Jacobs, able to shoulder him away and stop a long shot from the right point from Richards. Wranglers wheel the puck into the scorer's table. We have our first whistle 55 seconds in. Well, that's about 3 big hits that I can count by the Wranglers in the opening minute. They are not fooling around here on a Friday night. You know, Elton John once said, Saturday night's all right for fighting, but, I think Friday night might be the night for some big-time hits. Don't even get me started about Saturday night. We still got one more game to go in this set after tonight is done. And boy, am I looking forward to that. Wranglers will punch it out of their own end. Jacob Miller trying to catch up to it on the left wing. He's going to be cut off by Patilla, who is shouldered down by Miller. Clearing attempt is held in by Hedquist. Puts it to the goal. Gets deflected wide in front of Chiarenza. Wilburn keeps the play alive at the right point. Although I do believe it did end up being a delayed offside on the Wranglers, and so Odessa will sweep it down. No icing as Wilburn will retrieve it from behind Shepoister. Locates Phillips on the near wall. Quick exchange to Miller, and he will pump it in and head to the bench. Chiarenza out to play it. Turns it over to Phillips. He'll center for Lupo, who shoots just wide of Chiarenza. Odessa lifts it to the left point. Held in by Whited, the Montana man. Stashes the puck behind the net. Odessa keeps it rolling. This time to the near side. Larson pins it up against the half wall to keep it alive. Wriggles his way out of a sticky situation there. Gives it to White. Tried to put it on goal, but it hit the skate of Doyle, the Odessa native for the Jackalopes. And Odessa will skate free out of their own end and into Wrangler territory. Delayed offside on Odessa. They'll just punch it down and get a partial change as Smith heads to the bench. Guy Chiarenza here from the Permian Basin. This one just fresh, hot and ready, not just 3 minutes old to this point. Odessa on the right wing, digs to the goal line, puts it on goal to Shepoister, gets a stick on it. Rebound comes to LaFrance, gets tied up by Tavare, but the puck does escape the zone. And so from center circle, Larkey bangs it in. Shepoister back to play it, and a big check thrown behind him by Tavare. He's got the puck back. Shepoister pokes it away with help from Olislov. Now at the right point, Barry a shot into a screen. Falling backwards was Shepoister, but he kept it out. That one might have been going wide anyway, but the Wranglers again skating free, and now worming his way down to the goal line was LaFrance. Odessa able to have clean possession of the puck. Upwards pass looking for Hammer goes astray, and so now the check forward tries to wrestle away from Pipinen. The Finn holds firm, and now Boulanger outlets looking for Izadi. Had 2 goals last night, his 5th multi-point game, his first as a Wrangler, and his first career multi-goal game last night. He exchanges it with Rasega on the near circle, wrestled away from him by Graves. Hurls it to the left point, Pipinen can't keep it in, slapward up to L'Esperance. He'll glide down the right wing, Boulanger defends him well, puck goes to the high slot, and now the left point to Patilla. He'll stash it down below the circle for Graves. Looks to center. Pipinen's blocked it. Second attempt sends Graves around to the far wall. He'll hang on to it. Lugs it over to the left wing and now pitches to Patilla. Shot on goal. Deflected wide by Hammer. I think actually did make its way to Shepoister. He sweeps it over to the near corner. Again, Odessa held to just 1 goal last night. 6th best scoring team in the North American Hockey League. Wranglers defense put together quite the game last night. Shepoister steers away an easy one from Patilla from the left point. Pipinen now has it behind his netminder, and he won't waste any time. Drops it off to Satterdahl, and the Wranglers start a rush. Ezhunev takes it in up ahead, bounces to the left wing, takes a shot from there that's steered away by Chiarenza. O'Donoghue able to get it to Satterdahl on the near side half wall. Gets pinned up by Jacobs, and swooping the puck away is Giosi. Over the red line, he angles it to the far corner. Hedquist able to swat it over to Yevshinev. Jackalopes stealed away. Giosi, quick shot from the slot, and Shepoister with a kick save keeps it out. Jacobs now being pressured by O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue able to plunder the puck away, pokes it upwards for Satterdahl. Now takes a drop pass on the right wing. Glides to the goal, toe drag, shot, in on goal to Chiarenza, and the puck is swooped away by the Jackalope defense. Already some good scoring chances for both sides in the opening 5 minutes. 5:15 gone by here in period 1, but we remain scoreless. Lupo digs it free, centers out in front, looking for Miller, just a tad behind, and the puck does escape the zone. And we have a whistle with 14:35 on the clock. There's a bit of a yard sale over there in the far corner of the Jackalope zone, a broken stick in the vicinity. Get that cleaned up and maybe tend to the net behind Chiarenza as well, who is making his first start since March 2nd against Corpus Christi. Chiarenza has lost his last 6 starts. In fact, his last win was against the Wranglers, 4-2 in this building, December 15th. Wranglers are a much different team since then, though. As most of us already know who've been following this team, but I got to look is at the returners for the Wranglers. Just 2 remaining on the roster from last year, and one of them's got the puck right now. Jacob Miller floats it over to the other, and Phillips. Gage Martel able to steal it away. Shea Barry, the former junior Coyote, loses it to Phillips, comes in on the left side and drops it back to Miller. Puts it on goal. Chiarenza the save, and the rebound goes to Belsterling. Jackalopes leading point scorer. Whips it into the attacking end, goes for an icing exactly 6 minutes into the contest. Wranglers will get a line change in. Looks like the Jackalopes going to keep most of the same personnel out there. They'll swap out D-men. As for Amarillo, on comes the line of Larson, Olislov, and LaFrance. And look out for the 2 Swedes tonight. They have been at their best over the last couple of games. Larson on a 5-game point streak with the goal yesterday. Olislov an assist to extend his point streak to 3. Odessa wins the face-off. It hops it to the neutral zone for James Richmond. The returner tries to cut towards the goal. Wranglers have it covered. Larson checked them on the back check, and Boulanger now has the puck. Get it to piping in, facing some trouble from Tavare. Boulanger quick to help out. Tries to feed it to the far wall. Puck pinballs around a bit and eventually makes its way to Olislov. Locase LaFrance on the right side. Wanted to go back cross ice for Olislov, but his pass is intercepted. And now Richards taps it up ahead, and the Jackalopes are on the move. Good effort by Perticelli to try and stay onside, but he was not. And so with 13:24 left in the period, we get another stoppage. We talked about Chiarenza. On the flip side, Matt Shepoister acquired in a trade from Springfield right around the trade deadline. Hopped on a flight to El Paso, got off the plane. In fact, the first time any of us met Matt Shepoister, including myself, I remember I was with Morley Phillips, who was suspended that day for fighting the night earlier. He hopped off the plane, taken an Uber to El Paso County Event Center, backed up Girard that night, and then played every single game for the rest of the month of February. Puck goes behind him, Hedquist has it, and since then, he has been the catalyst for the Wranglers' consistency in net. Seemed like ever since he got to town, really supplied good goaltending on a consistent basis. And Girard really locked in ever since then as well as Shepoister, 2.5 goals against average, .917 save percentage, 5-4-1 record in 10 prior games with the Wranglers. As a whistle blows with 12:49 on the clock. I believe it was icing on the Wranglers there, and so we'll pay a visit to Shepoister with a face-off to his left. And now on the line with Resega and Izadi steps out Noah Wood. 1 goal and 1 assist in his last 2. He'll take this face-off for the Wranglers. Winning it is L'Esperance for Odessa. At the line, it's Martel fleeing it off the end wall, angles up into the air, and off the backside of the net to L'Esperance. Gets it to the right point for a shot by Barry. Wide of Shepoister. Back to L'Esperance in the near side. Looks to center again. Soft tap is picked off by Hedquist. Plays directed to the near corner. L'Esperance gets another touch on it, and Hammer just couldn't keep it in the zone. Had a good effort at it, but eventually flubbed off of his stick, and so the Jackalopes will drill it back in on a dump-in. Chris Graves, former Colorado Grit, has the puck stolen away by Satterdalen. Looks to outlet for Evshindev, but the pass is intercepted by Patilla at center circle. Jackalopes try and bully their way in, but Wranglers have it all under wraps, and now Evshindev darts upwards on the left wing. He'll shoot just wide of the glove of Chiarenza. White keeps the play alive, fires a shot at the backside of Richards. Rebound goes to the far half wall. Evshinev tangos there to get the puck for the Wranglers. White creeps down the wall and shoots. A floater goes over the glove of Chiarenza. White keeps the play alive again. Shot from the right point, this time into the glove of Chiarenza. And he will freeze with 11:38 to go in the first. A good action so far here in Odessa. Shot count is 5-3 in favor of the Wranglers. Face off on the near circle. Phillips will take it against Jacobs. Odessa's won the face-off. Now Toms will outlet to do the neutral zone. Jacobs takes it in stride. Down the right wing, has it weaseled away by Lupo. Now the Wranglers try and go up on a rush. Miller scoots the puck to the near corner in search of Phillips. Instead found Doyle, and Odessa will now have their turn up ice. Blasting down the right wing was Arrington. Sent Lupo down to the ground. Puck goes behind the net. Shepweister plays it. And now Lupo has possession on the far wall. Softly skating down that way. Miller will swat the puck in at the Jackalope blue line, and that line goes off for a change. Giosi will direct the puck into Wrangler territory. Odessa gets a change as well. Under 11 minutes to go in the first period. Boulanger stretch pass. Away from the France. No icing, though. Forecheck from Oleslov keeps the puck in the zone. Shot from the left wing is blocked by a Jackalope defender. France keeps the play in the zone, but quickly darts out to keep possession, and now Welburn will serve it below the goal line. Chiarenza plays it. Odessa quickly upwards as Smith tries to tap it to Belsterling. Pass is picked off by LaFrance. Wranglers come right back in. On the right wing, it's Oleslov. Nifty move. Looks to button hook. Jams the puck to the end wall. And peeling it away from there is Belsterling. He'll distribute the puck up ahead to Richmond. Bouncing down the right wing, James Richmond stops at the goal line to his forehand. Feeds it right circle for Belsterling, who fired wide of Shepweister. And now LaFrance is stood up by Patilla. Wranglers will waffle the puck into the attacking zone and get a full line change. Odessa trying to catch them napping as Belsterling takes in the pass at the blue line. Is shut down by Izadi, but not before dropping it off to Patilla. Creeps his way down low, looks to center, off a stick to Larkey. Feeds it to the right wing for a shot on goal, and Shepweister responds with a stick save. Puck on the near wall now. Jackalopes wanted to get it to the point for Richards, but Izadi and the Wranglers are able to force it all the way down. Ortega gets to it first using his speed. Fires a shot off the side of the net. Izadi catches up to it on the far wall. Tried to chip it from point to point. A Jackalope stick got in the way. Now contested puck of the Jackalope blue line is collected by Larkey. He'll feed it to Patilla, who's having a nice season for Odessa with 31 points on the year. He slides it up to Larkey in the near corner. Trying to go around the net. Instead, Shepweister got a touch on it. He freezes with 8:54 left in the first period. And that'll send us to our first timeout of the night. Still a scoreless affair here in the Permian Basin. 8:54 left in the first period. We're back in just a moment as Wranglers hockey this weekend is brought to you commercial-free by T. Miller Wrecker Service. T. Miller, a name that means honesty and integrity. Wranglers Hockey is brought to you by Ruth Smith Roofing and Repair Services. Let our family help your family. Back here at the Jack Shack, 8:54 left in the first period. Face off to the left of Shepweister. Saturdawn will take it against Larkey. Jordan Larkey, 3 assists in his last 4. Had a point streak snapped last night. Gets it to the line for a shot into traffic. Wranglers have it handled. O'Donohue to the neutral zone. Springs it to Evshinev. in the near corner. Jackalopes try and pin it up there. Tries to squirm away. Wants to tap it to O'Donohue. Gets it there. Tries to rip it on goal. Blocked by Thornton. Distributes to the left wing for Pipin. Puts it to the goal. Gets deflected wide. And the rebound up for grabs below the goal line in the near corner. Winning that battle is Thornton for Odessa. Popping it to the neutral zone. Taking flight is Tavare. Looks to center. Off a skate. Intended for Percelli. Able to dig it away from Satterdahl in the far corner. And now the Wranglers are able to pummel the puck through the neutral zone and a little bit more so they can get a line change in. Long pass by Odessa off the stick of L'Esperance. Gathered by Hedquist in the near corner. Graves trying to rip it away. Hedquist strong on it, working with Welburn. Can't do it. Puck goes to the slot. Pinballs around a bit, and the Wranglers sweep it to the wall. L'Esperance tries to dart back towards the slot. Whacking away from him is Hedquist, and the L'Esperance gets it back. Feeds it to the right point for a shot by Barry. Flubs to the right circle. Wranglers try and pelt it to the neutral zone, and they do. Lupo had to take a check to do it, but the Wranglers do clear the zone. And now 2 Wranglers and a Jackalope come together in front of the Odessa bench. Wranglers sandwich Shea Barry. It's a sandwich of Miller and Lupo with Barry in the middle. Now Hammer comes in on the left side. Feeds it to the right. Graves creeps in and shoots. And Sheppoister makes a big pad save. Now it's Patilla on the left wing. Getting it to the point for Hammer. Puts it into a screen. And the Wranglers are able to stick it away. On the far wall. Wided, jams upwards for Olislav. Tried to connect with Phillips at center circle. Just hit a stick and went wide. Now Patilla goes careening back in. On the left wing, Odessa puts it wide of the net on a shot from Patilla. Olislav putting pressure on Richards as the puck is loose on the far corner. 6:33 left in the first period. Still scoreless. Jackalopes pressuring though. Centering feed broken up by the Wranglers. And taking flight is Larson. Cuts to the middle. Oh, what a move. Larson shoots to LaFrance. And he gets checked in the slot. And the puck goes away from Karanji. It was almost a do-it-all kind of play from William Larson. The Jackalopes come away unscathed. Now Doyle has it. In his own territory, behind Karanji. Filters it to the left wing for Thornton. Lugging it through the neutral zone, plugs it down the left side. Pipening collects it in the near corner. Pops it to Izadi on the right wing. He's got some speed and he's got some space, but quickly has it taken away by a check from James Richmond. Richmond, wing to wing, connects with Doyle. The Odessa native, behind the red line, feeds it to Sheppoister. Leaves it for Boulanger, the former general. Gets it to the point. It's held in by Martel. Noah Wood puts pressure on Smith. Puck jumbles away. Boulanger hits Izadi on the run. On the right side, gets it to Rasega. Soft tap over the blue line, looking for Izadi. Puck goes to the wall, and now Barry able to peel it away. Wranglers wrestle to get it back. It's Izadi in the near corner, working with Rasega. Pass goes astray, and Richmond will now brush it to the right wing for Martel. He'll power it in around to the left wing for Belsterling. Centering feed through the circles to the far corner. Smith checked by Whited off the puck. And now Satterdahl floats it ahead looking for Evshinev. He's going to skate into it on the left wing. Cuts the middle. Backhand try. He scores! Oh, mama, what a goal from Kirill Evshinev. And the Wranglers have the lead. They strike first with 4:47 left in period 1. Unbelievable play. Kirill, are you kidding me? And for the second straight night, the Wranglers open a game with a 1-0 lead. Incredible. Kirill Evshinev has his 8th goal of the season, his 7th as a Wrangler, and Amarillo has a 1-0 lead in the final 5 minutes of the first. Wranglers now ice the puck with 4:34 left in the opening period. And Patrick Whited is credited with his first point of the season on the assist. As the puck was floated down the left wing into an open area, Evshnev uses his speed to get to the puck on the wall. Nifty move, beating the defender to the slot. And a backhand shot goes between the wickets of Chiarenza for the first goal of the night. Tom's at the right point, flings it towards the goal. It's blocked by Satterdahlin, who puts it upwards for the goal scorer, Evshnev. O'Donoghue takes it in at the blue line. Is muscled away from the puck. Now Tom's and the Jackalopes roll out to the neutral zone. Cross-ice feed off the stick of Puricelli. Pipenen's got it between the two rings of his own zone. Has Miller in the neutral zone, who hits O'Donoghue at the blue line. Pass connects. He gets bounced to the half wall, and Odessa churns it away from there. Wranglers get a line change in as O'Donoghue heads to the bench. Jordan Larkey lifts it to the neutral zone for Tavare. Over the attacking line, gets it to Puricelli. Fires on goal for a stick save by Shepoister. Pass goes to the right point, gathered by Barry. His shot goes off a body to the near corner. Boulanger fends off pressure from Puricelli. Puck ping-pongs to Larkey between the circles, but he couldn't quite get it for a shot attempt. And now the puck will escape the zone. Odessa gets a line change in as Phillips will direct the puck into the attacking end. Orly Phillips had an assist last night. Tries to peel the puck away from Patilla. The hard work almost pays off. Jacks turn it over at the line, but now Anthony White can't keep it in. Hammer to the middle. Graves a soft tap, and Shepoister makes the save. Graves ran out of real estate, and Shepoister was there to take it away. Came out the challenge, got the save in. There remains a 1-0 Wrangler lead. Graves has it back on the left wing. Serves it down low to Hammer. Behind the net, between the legs. Tried to maybe do a between the legs Michigan. I'm not quite sure. Went off the side of the net and now reappears on the near wall. Graves goes down. The Jacks want a tripping penalty. Not going to happen, buddy, as Patilla serves it from high to low. Patrick Whited. Upwards to Olislav. Larson now will tip it into the attacking end with a nifty move. Odessa quickly responds by going right back in. Hammer at the left point looking for reinforcements. Delivers it to the near corner for Lesperance. Sends it to the middle. Fresh off the bench is Hammer. And Shepoister makes a save in front. Now the Wranglers move up ice, developing 2-on-1. Wood and Izadi. Wood to the backhand. Shoots! Goes off the side of the net and stays out. Resagan now up to the left point. Hegquist to drive. It's blocked by Arrington. Resaga keeps the play in. Stashes the puck below the goal line. Izadi couldn't beat Thornton out to the puck. It will come out of the zone. Welburn will rifle it into the glove of Chiarenza with 1:45 to go. And the Wranglers will get a line change in as Odessa relays it to the Wrangler blue line. Giosi on time, able to swirl the puck to the right point for a quick shot that goes wide to the near corner. Giosi gets it back, up top to Martel, shoots it to the goal, gets deflected wide by Arrington. Wranglers are able to whack the puck out of their own end as Izadi heads to the bench. Odessa catapults the puck into the Wranglers' end. Boulanger with it in the far corner. Taps it up to Evshnev. He gets converged on by Barry. Puck leaks out of the zone. Odessa tries to whack it back to Martel, but it goes astray. O'Donoghue puts on the pressure. Checks Martel in the near corner. Tries to steal the puck away. It creeps over to Barry, and the Jackalopes will escape the zone. Jacobs into Wrangler territory. Checked by White on the wall. Wants to drop it back. Nobody was there. Centering feed broken up by O'Donoghue. And Satterdahlin will whip it out of the zone. 37 seconds left in the first period. Wranglers with a 1-0 lead. As a whistle is blown for an icing on the Jacks, with 34.5 left in the period. Make sure you stick with us after the conclusion of the first period for the first intermission report presented by Amarillo National Bank. We'll recap the first period of play, look ahead to period 2, and also see what's going on that very important out-of-town scoreboard. The Wranglers need A little bit of help from the Ice Wolves. They're hoping that Colorado falls to New Mexico here tonight. We'll have an update on that during the intermission. All coming up next on the first intermission report. Wranglers enter the zone and are quickly forced out of it. Lupo on the back end connects with Phillips. Backwards pass to Wellburn is poked away by the Jackalopes. And now Richards with 13 seconds left in the period. Drives it to the neutral zone. Richmond's going to try and skate into it, but Wellburn blasts him along the boards. Wranglers with possession in the final 5 seconds. Phillips in a hurry, gains the line and shoots wide of Chiarenza, and the period will end. Well, how's that for a start? The Amarillo Wranglers strike first yet again. Kirill Evshunev has his 8th goal of the season, his 7th goal of a Wrangler, and boy, was it highlight reel style stuff. We'll talk all about it, look ahead to period 2, and take a peek at the out-of-town scoreboard and talk playoff picture when we come back on the first intermission report, presented by Amarillo National Bank. The Wranglers lead 1-0. They also outshoot the Jackalopes 7-6 in the first period. As once again, your score through 1, Amarillo 1 and Odessa 0. We're back in just a moment on the Wranglers Hockey Network on NATV and YouTube. Wranglers Hockey this weekend is brought to you commercial-free by the Amarillo Ice Ranch, the coolest place in town. Welcome back to Ector County Coliseum, home of the Odessa Jackalopes, a venue that opened in 1954, 71 years ago. Tonight, it is a rocking palace for one of the biggest games of the season. Wranglers and the Jackalopes, it's a must-win game for both sides. And through 20 minutes of play, the Wranglers have the lead at 1-0. Ty Chiarenza with you here, welcoming you into the first intermission report presented by Amarillo National Bank. Looked like we might have gone another first period scoreless between these two again, but Kirill Evshidnev had other ideas. As with 4:47 left in the first period, Wranglers execute a perfect lob and run play as Patrick Whited throws the check in the far corner of the Wranglers zone, able to dislodge the puck away from the Jackalopes, gets it to Satterdahlin. He just throws it up down the left wing into open space for Kirill Evshidnev to skate into it, knowing the speed that his teammate has. Perfect pass, perfect play, even better finish from Kirill. Skates into it on the left wing, sees one defender to beat, knifes to the slot, beating him between the legs, moves to the backhand, and fires it through the wickets of Chiarenza for one of the best goals of the year. And that is the lone goal through one period of play that has the Wranglers up by 1. Amarillo in good shape through 20 minutes of play, and it's another period that the Wranglers hold the Jackalopes off the boards. Now you think out of 3 of the 4 periods that these two teams have played against each other so far this weekend, the Wranglers have held the Jackalopes scoreless in 3 of them. And the Wranglers now have scored the first goal in 4 straight games. And in fact, that is now 5 of their last 6 games that the Wranglers have scored the first goal of the night. And the Wranglers this season, when scoring first, have a record of 12-9, 2-1. Odessa, when trailing first this season, pretty dire, 7-20-1 is the Jackalopes' record when trailing first. And when trailing after 1, Odessa not much better, 4-16-1. The Wranglers, when leading after 1, are 7-6, 1-1. And, you know, that might be a bit of a glaring figure for some people, saying, well, the Wranglers were only 7-6, 1-1 when leading through one period. The Wranglers haven't led very much after one period of play. In fact, more often the Wranglers are tied after one period of play. They've been tied 18 times after one period of play this season, which is why that figure is so low. And so the Wranglers are in good shape heading into the second period. And now that's 3 straight periods that the Wranglers have scored a goal, dating all the way back to the second period of yesterday's game. And we know how big that second period was when the Wranglers tied a second period record this season for most goals in the second period with 3 yesterday. More of that, please. And the Wranglers will look to see if they can get that job done on back-to-back nights. No penalties called in the first period. Actually a pretty clean first period. But a lot of hits, a lot of checks being thrown around, and the Wranglers aren't fooling around here this weekend. They know how big these games are. They know that they're still alive in the playoff race, but they're not out of the woods yet, and they know that every moment, every microscopic detail is going to matter and it's going to count. And so the Wranglers this weekend, first and foremost, are just having fun. It really feels like that being around the guys this weekend during this road trip feels like they've got the right mentality. They're in the right headspace. They're just having fun. They know that, you know, a lot's on the line right now, and they know that the playoff picture is a jumbled mess. They essentially need to win out, but they're not feeling the pressure so much. They're using it to their advantage. They're using it to fuel this inspiration, if you will, this confidence that they can get the job done. And one of those catalysts has been Noah Wood. Noah Wood, in his 20-year-old year, played with Fairbanks for 2 years, comes over here to Amarillo. And, you know, talking to Noah Wood over the last couple of weeks, his mantra has been, why not us? Why not us? And it really seems to have resonated throughout the locker room, from the coaching staff to the players, myself. Everybody's a believer now, and the Wranglers, with good efforts over their last couple of weeks, points in 4 straight games, they're believers as well. And there are no bigger believers than anyone in the Wranglers, except for the Wranglers themselves. They are their biggest believer. And so far, they're getting the job done here in a big 3-game set in the Permian Basin. So, with that, we'll take a moment to take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard when we come back on the first intermission report presented by Amarillo National Bank. We'll also take a peek and see what the Wranglers need to do to put together another really big second period and hopefully have this one mostly under wraps by the second intermission here in Odessa. All that coming up and a little bit more when we return in a moment to the Jack Shack on the Wranglers Hockey Network on NATV and YouTube. Wranglers Hockey this weekend is brought to you commercial-free by 575 Pizzeria, M&R Liquor, and Floor Coverings International. We're back in just a moment on the Wranglers Hockey Network on NATV and YouTube. Welcome back to Odessa. We are coming up on second period action here at the Jack Shack. I'm Guy Chiarenza, bringing you back to the first intermission report presented by Amarillo National Bank. Wranglers and the Jackalopes squaring off for the seventh time this season, second time this weekend. And for the Wranglers, the second straight night this weekend, they open the scoring. Now they have a 1-0 lead heading into period 2. Big weekend on tap here, and for those of you on the YouTube side of things, you're going to get treated to a very fancy graphic with the standings. Sorry I can't supply that on NATV. Don't quite have access to my encoder this weekend, but all of you on the YouTube side of things, here is the lowdown. These are going to be treated to that nice standings graphic. So we'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboards here and see what's going on. But before we do, let's recap the standings. So Lone Star and Corpus Christi are the first two in the South. Lone Star cannot finish anything lower than first. They have the division locked up. Corpus Christi and Shreveport in 2 and 3 are separated by 4 points. They are jockeying it out for the first round bye with the second seed, as 3 will host 6 for a 3-game play-in, and then 4 will host 5. It's looking likely that New Mexico will host El Paso in the 4-5 matchup, as the Ice Wolves have 66 points, the Rhinos have 59, and in 6th place are the Colorado Grit. Now, the first 5 in the division, from Lone Star to El Paso, all of those 5 teams have clinched. There is 1 spot left in the South Division, and it is going to be either Colorado, Odessa, or Amarillo that makes it in. Now, right now, Colorado is in the driver's seat with 53 points on the season. However, here come the Wranglers with 47 points, just 6 back. Odessa in the middle at 50, but Jacks are trending in the wrong direction as of late, as Odessa is 3-7 in its last 10. Wranglers have points in 4 straight games, and a big first period has them up by 1 here in a critical matchup between these two teams. So what both Odessa and Amarillo are rooting for is that New Mexico, who's hosting Colorado tonight, is able to defeat the Grit in regulation, and then if the Wranglers win tonight in regulation, they would then be 2 points closer to Colorado. They would be just 4 points back with a Colorado loss and a Wrangler victory here in the Permian Basin today. So with that, let's take a peek at the out-of-town scoreboard and see what's going on a busy Friday night in the North American Hockey League. And we will start over at George's Pond in Shreveport. Again, remember, the Mudbugs are in search of the second seed, trying to get that first round bye, 4 points back of the Ice Rays. Oklahoma, their opponents, the Warriors have been eliminated. Wranglers will see them next weekend for 2 at the Budweiser bullpen. So that game is scoreless through 1 period of play. Our next trip sends us over to El Paso County Event Center, where just getting underway are the Rhinos and the Ice Rays. Big game for Corpus Christi. They are trying to distance themselves from the Mudbugs. And, of course, the big one on tap, just as we talked before, rounding things out over in Albuquerque, it is the New Mexico Ice Wolves hosting the Colorado Grit. And it looks like with 1:40 left in the first period there, those two clubs are scoreless. So that is the lowdown here on the out-of-town scoreboard, and we'll keep a careful watch on that as the night goes on, especially that New Mexico-Colorado game. As, again, the Wranglers, while they need to win, they do not quite have full control over their destiny. Need a little bit of help from New Mexico because Odessa and Colorado play in this building for a 2-game set next week. And so, you know, some points are going to get distributed around there, the places that the Wranglers don't want those points to go. But they have to go somewhere. It'll either go to Odessa or Colorado. Best case scenario, Colorado loses out to New Mexico this weekend. Wranglers win out. That would put them as close as 2 points back of Colorado. And then the Jackalopes and the Grit split points there. Wranglers continue to win against Oklahoma. And then that would put the Wranglers in a win-and-in situation on the final day of the regular season. And speaking of the final day of the regular season, we've got some great promos coming up next weekend at the Budweiser bullpen, which we will quickly talk about, as there are some firsts in Wrangler history that are going to go down next weekend. And here are some things that you need to know. So we'll start with Friday night. Friday night is Margaritaville night, starting with a party over at the Amarillo Ice Ranch. Party starts 2 hours before puck drop. You got $5 skating, $2.50 margs. Can't beat that. That night is brought to you by Contagion Athletics. Over on the 5th, we've got a big night at the bullpen presented by Austin Hose. That is Fan Appreciation Night. All sorts of giveaways. 100 T-shirts to the first 100 guests. Make sure you get there on time, and plenty of other stuff planned by Austin Host for that night. Fan Appreciation Day, the Wranglers want to give back. And speaking of giving back, here is the big one. So our first in Wrangler franchise history. This is year 4 of the club. Wranglers want to give back to their fans, right? Final day of the regular season. Wranglers hoping that's a win-and-in situation. We want to pack the bullpen. And just want to say a big thank you to everybody who supported us over the years. That game has been known as Grow the Game Day. Wranglers want to grow the game of hockey in the Texas Panhandle, give everybody a chance to witness Wranglers hockey, and so that game is free admission to the general public. Now, season ticket holders and billets, you should have received an email about what to do with your tickets for that night. You still get your tickets, and you will get additional tickets to distribute out to your friends and family or whoever you please. Just make sure you follow the instructions on the email to get that done. For everybody else, general admission is free. So here's what you need to know. Civic Center box office opens on Sunday at 12 p.m. So get to the box office by 12 p.m. on Sunday. First tickets are first come, first serve. You have to be present to receive your ticket. If you're not present, you cannot receive your free ticket. So whoever is intending on receiving a ticket for that game on Sunday, you have to be there at the box office to claim it. Otherwise, you will not be able to get it. So make sure you're there. 12 p.m. The box office will open. You have to be present to claim your ticket, and it is first come, first serve. Coliseum, Budweiser bullpen holds about 5,000. Once they are gone, they are gone. So you better be there on time. General admission is free on the final day of the regular season. And with that, we are about ready to start second period action between the Wranglers and the Jags. Both teams are back out there. Odessa wearing white jerseys with red trim and black trim. Maybe a little bit of purple mixed in there. We'll skate from left to right in the second period, and the Wranglers wearing blue jerseys with white numbers and professional red trim. We'll skate from right to left in period 2. Wranglers' tremendous defensive efforts have led to a healthy supply of offense throughout the course of the weekend. We saw it on the Wranglers' goal in the first period. Started in the D zone. Look for more of that here in the second period as the Wranglers look to add to their lead. Saturdawn will take the opening face-off of the second period against Jacobs. Puck is dropped, and we're back in action for period 2. Wranglers win the opening draw. Puck is loose at center circle. Avshunev darts down the right wing and moves in on his backhand. Goes around the net, loses a handle on it thanks to pressure from Jacobs. Probing O'Donohue gets it back and centers for Saturdahl, who fires it right into the gullet of Karanji. And he will hold and freeze 19 seconds into the second period. So already a great chance for the Wranglers. But a big save by Karanji keeps it a 1-goal game. Face-off will be to his right. Wranglers outshot the Jackalopes 7-6 in the first period. First shot of period 2 belongs to the Wranglers. Oleslov gets ripped away from the puck in the near corner. Odessa trying to squirm out of the zone, but the Wranglers are making it difficult. As the forecheck from the Swede line, and Mark LaFrance makes things a little bit difficult. Forces a turnover at the Wranglers line. Boulange will lift in. We got to come up with a better name. Speaking is tough sometimes. Got to come up with a better name for that line of the two Swedes and LaFrance. Smith drops it off on the right wing for Richards. He bombs one over the net. And now at the left point, it's Patilla. Fires towards the net. Blocked out in front. Loose puck comes to Oleslov, and he hits Jake Thornton at center circle. Pass wobbles off of his stick, springs back to the Jackalope defense. Patilla now looks up ice, goes cross-ice looking for Belsterling. The pass had too much heat on it, ends up going for an icing. 1 minute and 12 seconds into period 2. Face-off will be to the right of Karanji. Jacob Miller will take this face-off against Cohen Belsterling. Miller this season having a career year for the Wranglers. 13 points in 53 games. Had 5 last year. 4 goals and 1 assist. For the second-year man for the Wranglers. Puck comes out of the zone, so they have to pummel it back in. Now Phillips on the near sidewall, tries to jockey it to the left point. Comes out of the Jackalope zone, and so Hedquist will have to twiddle it back in. And now a whistle is blown 1 minute and 31 seconds into period 2. Next faceoff will be to the left of Shep Oyster. While there weren't very many shots thrown his way, and I'm sure he liked that after seeing 43 of them in his last start against Colorado, there were some high-danger moments where the Jackalopes had some good chances. Shep Oyster had to make some good saves in the first period. As DeVere off the face-off gets to the near corner, working with Larkey. Those two end up turning the puck over, and the Wranglers will clink it off the near wall and back out to Jack territory. Thornton slides up ahead off the stick of Percelli. Goes careening to Shep Oyster, who comes out to play it. On his forehand, shovels it to the near wing. Larkey's got it. Open space, plays it to the point. Doyle can't keep it in. Rasega puts on pressure, but Doyle able to distribute it back to his D partner in Thornton, and the Jackalopes turn up ice. Delayed offside on Odessa. Wranglers forced them to the neutral zone, and now Wood steals it away. Wood with numbers, feeds it to Izadi in the middle, and on his backhand shot, just rolled wide. Stuff attempt, Rasega, he scores! The hard work pays off, and the Wranglers make it a 2-0 game. 2 minutes and 16 seconds into period 2. So Rasega, who was stymied last night on an unfortunate play, able to pump the puck in there on the hard work from Wood and Izadi. And now the Wranglers have spotted themselves a 2-goal lead to start the second period. So Izadi now has 3 points in his last 2 games with the assist. Rasega with the goal has his 5th of the year. Now on a 3-game point streak, 2 goals and 1 assist in that span. Noah Wood also on a 3-game heater with the assist. 1 goal and 2 assists in his last 3. And the Wranglers are buzzing. Is through the neutral zone is Evshunev looking for O'Donohue up ahead. Going around the net, tries to wrap it around but lost an edge. And now a whistle is blown with 17:16 on the clock. And for those of you who are looking at the league website, looking for the scoring updates, it seems like some of these assists are off. The assist to Saturdahl that should have gone on the Evshunev goal is not listed, and looks like neither Wood or Izadi got credit on that last goal. As Pipanen has it, high slot shot, gloved down by Karanji and frozen. Just a tad under 3 minutes gone by in the second. So for those of you who are wondering, looking at the website, saying, well, why did he say that Wood and Izadi got the assist? It's because I'm fairly certain that they did, and they should, with their hard work. But I've known that over the years here in Odessa, the spotting on some of the goals and the assists have been spotty over the years. So we'll just have to watch the tape back. As Olislov centers, quick shot by LaFrance, goes wide of Karanji. Second try from the line, goes wide as Boulanger took a chance towards the net. Odessa down by 2. Stashes it to the left wing for Giosi. Gains the attacking line, fended off by Boulanger. Giosi plugs it around to the near corner, looks to center. Puck will escape the zone as Patilla couldn't catch up to it in time. Piping in behind the net, feeling some pressure, turns it over. Backhand shot goes wide of Shep Oyster. Giosi was right there at the top of the blue paint. He just rippled it wide. Now in the near corner, it's Arrington. Jumping it up to the point for Toms. Cross-ice feed. Doyle a shot. Goes into the slot and is swept away as Pipanen defends Belsterling. Wranglers probe at the puck. Belsterling trying to rip it away from Pipanen, but the Finn holds firm. And now he just tattoos Doyle below the goal line. Excuse me, that was Richmond, 14-4. Unbelievable hit from Pipanen. Just vaporized him. And now the Jackalopes ice the puck with 15:46 left in the period. It's been that kind of night. We've seen some big hits so far in this game. I don't expect that to shy away at any moment from here to the end of the weekend. For the Wranglers now, it is the line of Miller, Phillips, and Lupo. Welburn and Hedquist are the two blue liners. Wranglers win the faceoff. Welburn, a shot towards the goal, blockered away by Chiarenza. Now Hedquist keeps it in at the left point. Moves it from high to low to Phillips. Knocked off the puck by Doyle, but Lupo hangs on for Amarillo. Odessa wedges it away from the former hat trick and now has possession behind their own net. Smith pumps it wing to wing, looking for Richmond. Welburn cuts him off at the goal line, loses an edge. Richmond trying to get it back. Welburn back on his feet. As Belsterling is upended, not too happy about that. Wranglers will clear the zone. Phillips at the red line. Charges up ahead. Gains the Jackalope zone. Rubbed off the puck. Odessa has it in open ice. It's Tavares. Over the attacking line. Feeds it to Belsterling. Right circle shot. Blocked by Whited. He's come up with some key blocks over the last couple of weeks. As now Lupo has the puck on the near wing. Gains the red line and heaves it around Chiarenza to the far wall. Charlie Smith make that Tavares. It's checked by Whited on the near wall. Puck comes back to Barry, and now lobbing it on the left wing is Martel. Pericelli, the intended receiver, as it knocked away by White. Odessa feeds it to the high slot. Shot by Barry. Blocked in front by Whited. He's feeling that one. Two big blocks for Whited on this shift. Now Richards over to the left point for Patilla. Back to Richards. He'll shoot into the catching glove of Shep Oyster, who freezes 5:54 into period 2. Good action so far. Face off on the near circle. Saturdawn will take it against L'Esperance. Quickly trades it to hammer out the face-off victory. Jackalopes playing catch at the goal line. Doesn't work out too well as Evshinev pumps it to the right point. Richards keeps it in. Puck pinballs to L'Esperance. At the top of the left circle, he gets mobbed. Turns the puck over to Saturdawn, and the Wranglers take flight. Potential 3-on-2, but it's quickly shut down as the puck was impeded by a Jackalope. Now on the right wing, it's Hammer. Spins away from Evshinev. At the line, takes a shot. It's blocked by his own man in Graves. Hammer now has the rebound at the left circle, fumbles it to the slot. Puck is loose. Jack shoot it over the goal on a shot by Graves. Play stays alive. L'Esperance on the far wall as the Jacks trying to find some way to find the back of the net. Not going to happen on that shift as the Wranglers clear the zone. Now Richards, right wing shot, gobbled up by Shep Oyster. Freezes 6:55 into the second. Wranglers are out shooting the Jackalopes 12-9 to this point. 5-3 here in the second period. As the line for the Wranglers that combined on the last goal is out there now. Wood, Izadi, and Resega. And Resega comes bursting out of the zone off the face-off victory. Loses an edge as he was defended by Toms. Jackalopes will deliver the puck back down behind Shep Oyster. Resega peels it off the near wall, quickly jets up ice, gains the red line, tries to whip it in. It's blocked by Doyle and, make that Thornton. And now comes sailing back into the Wranglers' end and eventually leaps into the Jackalope bench. Gives us a moment to talk about the two coaches here tonight. Jackalopes are led by head coach Scott Dewar, who is trying to turn things around here in the Permian Basin. Jackalopes have not made the playoffs since 2018. Corey Walktek, on the other hand, came in about mid-season for the Wranglers, about 20 games in, trying to help them clinch their third consecutive Robertson Cup playoff berth. His neutral zone faceoff is won by Odessa. Barry heaves it to the near corner. Momentum carries it behind the net, and Whited will send it out of the zone, and Larson quickly evades a check from Smith. Almost got blown up, but now he's got the puck on the left wing. Wants to center, pass is picked off by Belsterling. Feeds it up ahead to Richmond. He'll drop it off for Belsterling, who gains the attacking line and volleys it to Shep Oyster, who freezes with 12:14 to go. Wranglers get a line change in. On comes the Miller, Lupo, and Phillips line. Boulanger and Pipin in the deep pairing. And again, Wranglers coaching staff had nothing but good things to say about that Boulanger-Pipening pairing. And I did get the chance to talk to Jake on the latest episode of Wranglers Weekly. You can catch that interview on our YouTube channel, as Jake did talk about being paired up with Heikki Pipinen. And now here's a check by Pipinen. That's going to draw the first penalty of the game. He checked Puricelli, and now gloves fly as everybody wants a piece of Pipinen, who is now down after taking a shot after the play. Lupo wants to go after Larkey. Puricelli skating to the bench. Looks like he's okay. But my assumption is that the penalty is going to be boarding on Pipinen if he's able to get back up here. So he looks like he's still in a little bit of discomfort. And they'll talk things over at the scorer's table. So to this point, we're just about at the midway point of the game. No penalties called so far, but we will see the first. And the question is what the call will be. And it will be Pipinen that will sit. This looks like under his own power, which is good to see. He'll get a chance to shake it off, but not in the place that he would like to, is to spend 2 minutes in the penalty box. And maybe more. We'll see if anything is added to his sentence. But I believe it should just be a boarding call, and the Jackalopes will head to the power play. Gives us a chance to talk about the Wranglers' penalty kill here, as we do know that the Wranglers will be going to the penalty kill. Perfect in 4 of their last 5 games, including last night. Wranglers went 4 for 4 on the PK. Wranglers are 20 for 21 in that span. That's 95% that the Wranglers' penalty kill is operating at. And again, the only power play goal that was scored against the Wranglers in that span came in the Saturday game against the Grit. It was scored on a 5-on-3 by Alexander Gurman. Now here's a new development. We've got a Jackalope making his way to the penalty box, and it's Christian Tavare. So could we see 4-on-4 action here? Gonna find out here in a moment. And unfortunately for us, well, more so me, relaying the information to you, usually on these lengthy discussions by our officiating crew, which is Mr. Matthews, the referee, and the 2 linesmen are Edling and Hardy, you don't quite ever really see what the official call is. They don't always do the greatest job of showing us what call was made. Usually if it's a minor penalty on either side, you'll see a hand signal, but on plays like this, you can kind of forget about it. So we'll just wait for it to trickle in on the league website. And it looks like on the website we've got 2 penalties to Pipinen, both for 2 minutes, one for checking from behind, and the other unsportsmanlike conduct, which is interesting. So far, no word on what Tavare did. But this is taking quite some time, as Hardy, one of the linesmen, is delivering some sort of information to Ryan Seavey and Corey Wogtek, the Wranglers coaching staff. And in the meantime, you've got a lot of confusion. So Pipinen also gets a 10-minute misconduct for unsportsmanlike conduct. And Tavare gets 2 for roughing. So the 2 for roughing for Tavare, and either one of the 2 penalties to Pipinen will offset. So it will be the Jackalopes going to the power play with 12:04 left in the second period. Sometimes you really got to go all the way around the world to get some information, but Odessa is on the power play. Richards across. Now back to the right wing looking for Esperance. Fires it to the slot. Kick save. Shepweister. And Resega skates the puck free. Has some room shorthanded. On the right wing. Stops and shoots. Puck flutters in on Chiarenza. And he's able to make a glove save. He freezes it. With 11:48 left in the period. And they don't have the penalty time on the clock. I believe I've been mistaken. There is no penalty. Well, there is a penalty, but we're staying 5-on-5. Well, the information I've got doesn't quite line up with that, but we are 5-on-5 as Giosi streaks towards the net. Shepweister punches it away and is able to gather the rebound and freeze. So that draws a whistle, and let's sort this thing out here. So based off the information that I get on the league website, that doesn't quite line up. So now I have to imagine that Tavare got a double minor to offset whatever Pipinen got, and that's why we're at 5-on-5. Otherwise, your guess is as good as mine. Okay, then. But there are 5 skaters on either side on the ice right now. Odessa with the puck. To center to the slot. Wranglers break it up. O'Donoghue lifts it to the neutral zone. What we do know is that the Wranglers will not have the services of Pipinen for about the next 10 minutes. The 10-minute misconduct, which limits the Wranglers down to 5 defensemen able to play in that span. They did dress the extra forward. It's a shot by Satterdahlin. Is knifed away by the right arm of Chiarenza. Whited keeps the play alive at the left point. His shot goes off a stick to the high slot. Puck escapes the zone, and the Wranglers will have possession from there as Whited, in a hurry, evades 2 Jackalope forecheckers. And now Satterdahlin maneuvers through the neutral zone. Tries to power ahead. Jackalopes cluster up on him. Puck leaks free, and now Smith has it on the right wing. Okay, in the attacking zone, toe drag shot steered away by Shepweister. Richmond pinned up, and now the puck will escape the zone thanks to O'Donoghue, and Oleslov is going to skate into it on the right wing. Beats out Martel. Stops looking for a trailer. Feeds it to the middle. LaFrance can't quite get it as the Jackalopes are able to get a man in front. Charlie Smith over the red line. Bangs it around to the near half wall. Looking for Belsterling. Wranglers squelch the puck away. And now Barry has his helmet knocked off by LaFrance. He has to head to the bench. Puck rolls in on Shepweister, who freezes. 9:50 into the second period. Well, I apologize for that confusion there. But again, on those sequences where they really have to talk things over, you get a big discussion. It's one of those heard it through the grapevine kind of situations, and I don't think whoever's at the scorer's table got quite the right message, which is why the information on the league website isn't quite accurate. But at least things are right in-house. The other thing that you got to think about is Ector County Coliseum, a building that was opened in 1954. 71-year-old building. Part of the scoreboard is broken. Doesn't register a shot count. And one of the home penalties, or a penalty would appear, is also broken. So you also got that to work with here this weekend. As the Wranglers able to bumble a puck out of their own end. Graves shovels it to the left wing. Jackalopes come in off the wall to hammer. Backhand feed goes around the net to the near side. Graves fans on a cross ice feed. Does eventually make its way to the far wall, and now we've got a penalty, and this time we can say for certain. Belsterling gets checked, arm goes up, and now this time we should see the Jackalopes go to the power play. Looks like they're going to get Mark LaFrance. With 9:35 left in the second period. So now we get to see this Wranglers penalty kill in action. That is perfect in 4 of its last 5. Went 4 for 4 yesterday. We'll see what they can do. Jackalope power play has been good as of late, but did get shut down completely last night by this Wranglers PK. It is operating at 16.2%. That's 26th best in the North American Hockey League. Shot from the line by Patilla. Goes off a body and out of play. We get a whistle 8 seconds into the cross-checking penalty to LaFrance. Face off to the right of Shepoister. Wranglers sweep it to the line. Good effort to keep it in by Patilla, but Miller's able to knife it away. Tries to charge up ice. Able to get one last swipe at it to send the Jackalopes back to their own end. Although they quickly exit, Jacobs turns the puck over to White, and the Wranglers kill off more time by banging it back to the Jackalope blue line. Puck leaks over into the near corner of the Wranglers zone. Davari behind the net for Jacobs. Odessa scored 193 goals for this season. 19% of them have come on the power play. Special teams, not Odessa's strong suit this season, as they look to pull within one on the power play. Centering feed goes off a stick, gets loose in front of Shepoister. Miller tries to get a touch on it. Satterdahl clears the zone as the glove of Patilla was not enough to keep it in. The Jackalope defenseman will send the puck swerving behind Shepoister. Wranglers on a clearing attempt send out the backside of Belsterling into the Jackalope bench with 43 seconds left on the penalty to Mark LaFrance. It'll be a neutral zone face-off. Quartet on the penalty kill now for the Wranglers. It's Phillips, Olislav, Welburn, and Boulanger. Jackalopes have it. To the near wing for Richmond, over the red line, tries to drive it in, but the Wranglers drill it all the way down to Chiarenza for another clear. Turning up ice is Hammer with speed, brushes it to the left wing. Richmond will deliver it down to the goal line and a little bit more. Players converge at the end wall. Puck creeps over to the corner, and now Richmond has it. From the near half wall, plays it to the line. Belsterling feeds it to the left wing for Hammer. Gains the circle, feeds it across. Wanted Richmond, but Boulanger got a stick on it. Jackalopes trying to hang on to possession. Penalty expires. The Wranglers have killed it off. Richmond over to Belsterling. LaFrance out of the box. Izadi hops off the bench. Jackalopes put it towards the goal. Wranglers break it up. Olisov will skate it out of the zone. Whacks it upwards for Phillips. Just offline. No icing, though, as the Wranglers go to work on the forecheck. Jackalopes turn up ice with it. It's Richmond being bodied away by Rasega on the near wall. Wranglers rattle it off that wall to Phillips on the move. Drops it off for Rasega. Spins away from Giosi. Cuts towards the slot. Broken away by Smith. Feeds it to the left wing for Graves. Has open space. Delays for a moment. Defended well by Hedquist as his centering feed goes off the stick of the Wranglers defenseman and out of play with 6:56 left in the second period. It's the Wranglers 2 and the Jackalopes nothing. Wranglers have just come off of a successful penalty kill. They are 1 for 1 tonight. We'll be back in just a moment here in the Permian Basin on the Wranglers Hockey Network on NATV and YouTube. Wranglers Hockey this weekend is brought to you commercial-free by Fiesta Foods, Amarillo's top Hispanic grocery store. Wranglers with a 2-goal lead here in the Permian Basin. We're back to live action as Amarillo wins a defensive zone faceoff and plugs it to the neutral zone. Looked like it was intended for Resega, instead goes away from him. Over on the far wall, Puricelli deals it over to the near side, looking for Doyle out of his reach, and Wood will whip it into the attacking end. It was onto the stick of Toms, who slides it up ice. Instead, boomerangs back to him. Now goes cross ice for Doyle. Odessa native spars it along the near wall. Taveri gets to work, turns it over in the high slot to Izadi. Outlet pass intended for Resega is picked off, and now Puricelli tries to dig into the attacking end, but Taveri was still offside. And it is a delayed offside on Odessa, and now they call it with 6:07 left in the second. Make sure you stick with us after the conclusion of the second period for the second intermission report, presented by Amarillo National Bank. Recap the first 2 periods, talk about what the Wranglers need to do to hopefully close this thing out in the third, and also take a look at that out-of-town scoreboard in the playoff picture. See what the Ice Wolves and the Grit are up to. All coming up on the second intermission report. Face off on the near circle. Satterdon will take it in the attacking zone. His opponent will be Jeremy Jacobs, who has 35 points on the season in 54 games. Satterdon with the assist tonight on the first goal by Evshugnev. Now up to 12 points as a Wrangler. There's a shot from the line by Whited. Is blocked by Odessa. Arrington tries to maneuver around Whited. He has it all covered. Now the Wranglers get to work on the forecheck. O'Donohue wanted to center for Satterdon. Pass was a tad behind. Now Odessa turns up ice on a line rush. Giosi quickly to the near corner, wants to center. Whited had that all covered defensively, and now Odessa lifts the puck out of play into about the 3rd or 4th row on the near side with 5:35 left in the period. In Ector County Coliseum, an old venue built in 1954, 71 years old this year. Certainly has not lost its charm, but definitely shows its age in some parts. One of those buildings that Elvis Presley played in twice. In fact, for all you rock and rollers out there, Def Leppard played in this building as a shot from the right wing is steered away by Karanji. In fact, it was their first headlining tour. Started here at Ector County Coliseum all the way back in 1983. Odessa comes in on the right side. Graves on his forehand. Being pressured well by Phillips. Jack's forced to center, but had too much heat on it. Comes trickling back to the Jackalope end with 5 minutes left in the second period. Resprance over the red line now. Trying to softly chip it to Hammer. That doesn't work out. And so now Richards from the back end, who scored a hat trick against the Wranglers on New Year's Eve. Working with his D partner, jolts it to the neutral zone, and the Wranglers come barreling in, but they're offside with 4:38 on the clock. And at times this game has really been quite fast moving, although recently it has slugged down a little bit. Frequent whistles. As it is 8:34 local time. Game started at 7:15, so we're moving at a pretty quick pace here in the Permian Basin. Face off in front of the Jackalope bench. Larson will take it for the Wranglers. Wins it back to Wellburn. Cross ice to Hedquist. Back the other way to Wellburn. Tries to outlet to the neutral zone, and getting a stick on it was Belsterling. Leaves it for Richmond, who is checked on a thunderous crunch by Wellburn. Almost dislodges him from the puck. Odessa still got it. Shot from the left circle. Turned away by Shepoister. And now Olisov will clear it out of the zone. Hedquist now into attacking territory. Delays to Larson. But ping-pongs over onto the stick of Richmond, who flubs it out to the neutral zone. France tried to whack it back in, but it hit the shin of Smith. Came back to Wrangler territory. It's now Olislov. Flings it to center circle, but no Wranglers were able to grab it. Belsterling now trying to cycle away from Olislov. That's a very difficult task to do. He's very strong on the forecheck, able to squirm the Jackalope captain off the puck. And now the Wranglers will try and get to work offensively. Resega over the attacking line. Gets it to Larson. Up ahead for a shot was Izadi, and that just goes wide. Now Tom skates up ice. Feeds it to the middle. Pericelli looking for a trailer. And what an offensive play by Boulanger to break it up. Now Resega streaks down the right wing. Gets rubbed off the puck by Larkey. And now it's Odessa's turn. Tavare to Pericelli trying to split the D. His shot is blocked away by Shepoister. Resega gathers a puck in the high slot. Gets to work again using his speed. Gains the red line and bombards the puck into the attacking end. Izadi tries to stash it between the circles. Odessa breaks it free. It's Barry to Pericelli on the left wing. Gets stuffed at the line. It's an offside on Odessa with 2:54 to go in the second. Just when we start talking about the game being sluggish. So how about that? A couple of good line rushes end to end. All in all, still a 2-0 Wrangler lead. Shepoister gets the start for the Wranglers here tonight. He and Gerard have alternated starts for what is now the last 11 games. And again, that's been the key for the Wranglers, consistency between the pipes. Shepoister really carried the Wranglers through the month of February. And it's helped Gerard lock in as well as a shot by O'Donohue is snatched up by Karanji, and he holds with 2:41 to go. But, I mean, the stats don't lie. Charles-Antoine Gerard, 3-2 record, 2.4 goals against average, .923 save percentage over his last 5 starts. Equate that to when Shepoister came to town, really gave Gerard some chances to learn from him when Shepoister had the reins through the month of February. And his stats pretty much the same as Gerard's over that span, so which is about twice as long. That's one of the reasons why the Wranglers are still in the mix. As Evshunev looks to center for O'Donohue, gets it on the right side, flings it towards the goal, but doesn't make its way there. Satterdahlin deking and diving below the goal line. Haynes onto the puck, feeds it up high. Welburn a shot deflected wide by O'Donohue. Puck goes behind the net. Evshunev has got it. Bounces to the wall, feeds it to the point for Whited. High and low and behind the net. Odessa's got the puck back. It's Patilla. Rushing it to Arrington. Takes the return pass and springs it upwards for Jacobs. Centering feed broken up by Welburn, and he will skate it out of his own end. Will Welburn barreling down the left wing. Delivers the puck behind the net and heads off to the bench. Lupo fresh off it. Leaves it for Phillips. Left circle. Shot! Stopped by Karanji. With 1:41 left in the period, Wranglers taking some chances, trying to add to their lead, which still remains 2-0. How about Morley Phillips this season? Think about the evolution of Phillips. He stays out there on that line with Middleton and Lupo. Really came in, known more as a physical guy, came over in a trade from Maryland, found his footing with the Wranglers last season, emerged as a leader this year, got named captain, found his scoring touch, leads the team in points with 31. Had an assist yesterday, leads with goals and 12, assists with 19. 22 points in 30 games as a captain coming in tonight. Phenomenal season for Money Mo Phillips. On all that considering, he had 11 points, 5 goals and 6 assists last year. He continues to evolve, tries to churn out of his own end. Wranglers do have it in the neutral zone. As Lupo shimmies in on the left side, feeds it to Phillips in the right corner. Back to Lupo behind the net. Jackalopes get a body in front. Esperance is there trying to dig it away from Phillips, but the captain hangs on. Backhand feed to the middle, goes to Karanji, and they can't quite sweep it in. He juggled it, but the Wranglers will not able to capitalize. Final minute of the second period. Tumbling in is L'Esperance. He gets pinned up in the far corner by Hedquist, and some time will trickle from there as traffic slows to a halt. Boulanger able to weasel the puck away. Jack center. Graves a shot. Shepoister the save. Another try. Shut down by the right pad. And the rebound to the near corner and back to Shepoister, who snags it with 34.3 on the clock. Out of that board battle, Boulanger had it, and then next thing you know, the Jackalopes had it. They quickly centered it to the slot. Graves was there, fanned on the initial one-timer. second chance. Shepweister got it. Puck came to the corner. He was able to make another save from there. What a night for Matt Shepweister. As to this point, he's stopped all 18 shots that he's seen. And now the shot count is tied at 18. Jacks are out shooting the Wranglers 12-11 in this period. False start on the face-off restart action, so we'll do it again. And now a bit of a discussion going on at the scorer's table between our referee Matthews and the Jackalope off-ice officials. Looks like they're going to put some time on the board. 35 seconds now on the clock, so they add about 2 seconds. And puck is dropped and we're back to live action. Smith centers, one-timer, Belsterling, and that just screeches wide. Now Martel a try, sticked away by Shepweister. Barry fans on the next shot. Puck goes below the goal line to Richmond. Swerves his way to the left wing from the half wall, goes up top, and Martel can't keep it in. Just blasted in with 10 seconds to go. Shepweister sweeps it to the far wall. And now a whistle with 7.9 to go. Feels like the last 3 minutes or so of this period have just been stop-and-go action. Face-off appears to be coming out of the zone. So the final personnel to round out the period, it's Noah Wood with Rasega, Izadi, Welburn, and Hedquist, as Wood will take the face-off against Belsterling. Contested off that draw in front of Scott Doerr's bench. Springs back to his defense. Time runs out, and the Wranglers are headed into the intermission with a 2-goal lead through 2. The Wranglers' stellar effort this weekend continues. They have a 2-0 lead through 2 periods of play with goals from Evshunev and Rasega. We'll talk all about it and what is on the docket for the out-of-town scoreboard when we come back to Odessa for the second intermission report presented by Amarillo National Bank. Once again, through 2 periods of play, Wranglers have a 2-0 lead. Odessa leads the shot count 19-8. We're back in just a moment for the intermission report, as Wranglers hockey is brought to you this weekend commercial-free by Sonic, America's Drive-In, and Hooters. You gotta get the Hooters. We're back in a moment in the Permian Basin. Welcome back to the Permian Basin, where through 2 periods of play, the Amarillo Wranglers have a 2-0 lead over the Odessa Jackalopes as they look to continue to keep their playoff hopes alive. Guy Chiarenza welcoming you into the second intermission report presented by Amarillo National Bank. 2 goals, 2 good periods from the Wranglers as they have held the Jackalopes, one of the league's highest scoring teams, to 0 goals through 2 periods of play for the second straight game. Amarillo opened the scoring with 4:47 left in the first period. Kirill Evzhignev scored his 8th goal of the season and his 7th as a Wrangler to make it a 1-0 Amarillo lead. Patrick White dislodged a jackalope off the puck in his own end. Was able to knock it to Satterdon, who lobbed it through the neutral zone into open space for Evzhignev. And he skates into it, throws a nifty move on the defender. Puts it between his legs, had him lost in the sauce on the backhand shot through the wickets of Chiarenza. Scores for the Wranglers to make it a 1-0 Amarillo lead through 20. So the second period we go, and to that point, no penalties have been called in the game. And then we finally start to see some penalties called. But, you know, to that point, there was no shortage of physical play. Oh, no. There was certainly a lot of that, and it didn't go away at all in the second period. In fact, it became even more apparent what kind of game this was going to be. Jackalopes went to the power play. 9:35 left in the second period after an odd sequence where we thought that Hanky Pipinen was going to get a penalty. It ended up being that he didn't. Stayed 5-on-5. Wranglers did lose Pipinen services for the next 10 minutes. Then again, as I mentioned, with 9:35 left in the period, Wranglers get called for a penalty for cross-checking, and then they go to the penalty kill, and they kill it off, 1-for-1 on the penalty kill. And that technically is the only time that either team has had to go out on the penalty kill. Wranglers have not had a power play in this game, and they're 1-for-1 on the PK. So the Wranglers, again, putting together good effort on the penalty kill. They were able to shut down the Jackalope power play and keep it, at that point, what was a 2-0 Wrangler lead, because in the opening 3 minutes of the period, the Wranglers score to make it a 2-0 lead. As 2:16 into the second period, Daniel Resega buries goal number 5 of the season from Wood and Izadi to make it a 2-0 Wrangler lead, and that's where we sit through 40 minutes of play. And for Resega, now on a 3-game point streak, 2 goals and 1 assist in his last 3 games. Ty Izadi now on a 2-game heater, 2 goals and 1 assist in his last 2. And Noah Wood, 3-game point streak, 1 goal and 2 assists in that span. Yeah, the Wranglers' depth scoring has been showing up as of late, and that's one of the reasons why they've had a very healthy weekend on offense in Odessa. And Wranglers looking to keep that rolling, and they definitely need to keep winning. They want a chance to make the Robertson Cup playoffs for the 3rd consecutive year. Wranglers have a goal in each period, and they've held the Jackalopes without a goal for the first 2 periods of both games in the 3-game set here this weekend. And we'll see what tomorrow brings, but so far so good for this Wranglers team. They've shut down one of the league's highest scoring offenses. And so you think about what Odessa has been able to do this season on offense, 193 goals for this season, so a 3.51 goals for per game average. They're tied for the highest scoring team in the South Division with Corpus Christi, 5th most goals for in the North American Hockey League this season. They're tied with Corpus Christi for that distinction. 195 goals against, though, for the Jackalopes. So while the Jackalopes are very proficient when it comes to scoring, when it comes to defending, it's almost night and day difference, almost the exact opposite. 3.56 goals against per game average, 8th worst defensive team in the North American Hockey League, the 2nd worst defensive team in the South. Only Oklahoma has given up more goals at 206. And the other thing about the Jackalopes is you got to think where a lot of those goals were scored. 46 of the 193 goals came against the El Paso Rhinos in the 8-game season series between those 2 clubs. That accounts for almost 25%, 23.8% to be exact, of the Jackalopes' goals this season. So a large chunk of those had come against the El Paso Rhinos. In fact, the Jackalopes, in half of the games in the season series against El Paso, put up, I believe it was like 6 or more goals against the Rhinos, Just seemed like every time the Jacks and the Rhinos got together, Odessa ran up the score. So here's what you really need to know about this Odessa team. When it comes to offense, they've scored 15 games with 5+ goals. When it comes to defense, they've also had 15 games giving up 5 or more goals. So that equates to about 27% of the games that they play in. They're either scoring 5 or more goals or they're giving up 5 or more goals. And that's one of the reasons why the Jackalopes have a record of 23-28, 4-0. I mean, they've been consistently inconsistent. Some nights they outscore their problems. Other nights, they just can't do it. And the Jackalopes end up losing. And Odessa is hitting a rut at the worst possible time. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost their last 2. And the Wranglers come into Ector County Coliseum, and they have an agenda on their mind, and that is beat the Jacks, continue to win, and they're in good shape to make the Robertson Cup playoffs. Wranglers look to do it in the third period again, try and close this one out. This time, 2-goal lead instead of a 3-goal lead. You don't want to let Odessa back into the game, so you're going to have to play some, continue to play some great defense here in the third period. You know, Odessa is really going to try and pressure, and they're going to use their speed to their advantage, but I've really liked the Wranglers' physicality this weekend. I've really liked what they've been able to do off the puck in this game so far. Use their weight to their advantage. They're the biggest team in the North American Hockey League when it comes to height and weight. This Wranglers team is using it to their advantage this weekend. When we come back, we'll also talk a little bit more about that, but we will also take a peek at the out-of-town scoreboard and talk about the South Division standings and see what's going on in Albuquerque as the Wranglers are hoping that the Grit lose in regulation to the Ice Wolves tonight. All that coming up when we come back on the second intermission report presented by Amarillo National Bank. As Wranglers hockey this weekend is brought to you commercial-free by Scottco. Gotta call Scottco and Smoke Wagon Beard Balm, America's original 2-in-1 beard balm made locally in Amarillo, Texas. We're back in just a moment on the Wranglers Hockey Network on NETV and YouTube. Third period action is right around the corner as we bring you back to the second intermission report presented by Amarillo National Bank. Wranglers have a 2-0 lead through 2 periods of play here in the Permian Basin as they have their eyes set on their third consecutive Robertson Cup playoff berth, but they're going to need a little bit of help to get there. So even with the Wranglers winning out, they do need Colorado to lose a few games here and there for the Wranglers to have a chance. So let's throw back up the standings graphic on our YouTube audio feed, and we'll paint a picture for you guys on NATV as well. You know, usually it's the other way around, but I don't get to control the graphics here in Odessa this weekend. So here's the lowdown. First 5 seeds in the division have already been clinched. It's Lone Star, Corpus Christi, Shreveport, New Mexico, and El Paso. They are all headed to the big dance. The only thing that's up in the air right now is who's going to make it in as the 6th seed, the final spot in the division. Right now, Colorado has 53 points, 6 ahead of Amarillo with 47, and 3 ahead of Odessa, who has 50. Now, the thing to know about the Jacks, they have played 1 more game than Colorado and Amarillo, who both have 5 games left on their schedule, including the ones that they are playing here tonight. So with the Wranglers' victory and a Colorado loss, the Wranglers can come as close as 4 points back of the playoff spot that is currently occupied by Colorado. And all the Wranglers need to do is tie the Grit for that spot, because the Wranglers own that tiebreaker by winning the season series. The Wranglers, if they split this season series with the Jackalopes and it came down to a tie between those two, I don't think, and it depends on the outcome between tonight's game and tomorrow's game, I don't think the Wranglers would own that tiebreaker, because the Wranglers and the Jacks would have an even split at 4-4. Then it goes to head-and-head goals against, which I don't think the Wranglers would hold that tiebreaker, but I don't really think that's going to come into a play at this point. I think it's probably going to come down to either Amarillo and Odessa against Colorado. So, speaking of Colorado, let's see what they're up to, as both teams here tonight are praying that the Grit lose to the Ice Wolves in regulation. Before we get to that game, let's take a look at what's going on at the Pond in Shreveport. Oklahoma, who's been eliminated, has a 1-0 lead over the Mudbugs through 2 periods of play. Riley Fast with the lone goal there. We'll see the Warriors at the Budweiser Bullpen next weekend on Friday and Saturday. Over in El Paso County Event Center, the El Paso Rhinos and the Corpus Christi Ice Rays are all tied up at 1 through 1 period of play. 1 goal for Cooper Conway, 1 goal for Jacob Solano. Those 2 teams, who are both headed to the dance, all knotted up after 1. And, of course, the big one over in Albuquerque, bad news. Colorado Grit have a 3-1 lead over the New Mexico Ice Wolves with 1:12 left in the second period of that game. Grit getting goals from Carson Pavlovich, who has 2, which, go figure, he scores twice tonight. He had 1 goal on the season coming into that game. Came against the Wranglers way earlier in the season, back in October. Now he's got 2 to bring his total to 3. Sheldon Rue tacks on another, and the Grit have 3 goals to New Mexico's 1, which was scored by Toivo Loxonen in the second period. So the Wranglers are hoping that the Ice Wolves have a big third period to come back and defeat the Grit. But the Wranglers, they can't quite think about that right now, because they need to take care of their own business. Still plenty of games left for Colorado for them to falter down the stretch. Still plenty of games for Amarillo to surge. And boy, have they been surging as of late. Wranglers have played well in this game. And they just need to close it out here in the third. So what do the Wranglers need to do to come away with victory here in the third period? Well, the Wranglers have done their job offensively. 2 goals might be enough to beat the Jackalopes here tonight. I do feel like you'd like to get an insurance marker here, make that 2 a 3, and then we'll be a little bit more comfortable. But that's only because we know how good Odessa is at scoring goals this season. So while I've liked the way the Wranglers have played defensively, they got to keep it up. And I think one of the biggest keys to the Wranglers being able to stymie the Jacks so far this weekend has been their physicality. The Wranglers have been very strong on the puck. They've been even stronger off of it, making it a very difficult time for the Jackalopes to really execute things the way that they want to. Wranglers being pesky, man, this weekend, and are going to need more of that here in the third period. Very close to closing this one out for their 3rd straight victory, or make that their 2nd straight victory. But it would be their 5th game in a row with at least a point. The Wranglers definitely need that, especially considering what the score is in Albuquerque right now between the Ice Wolves and the Grit. So we'll see if the Wranglers can get it done here in the third period, as that'll do it for the second intermission report presented by Amarillo National Bank. And Happy to have everybody with us here this weekend, watching on NATV or listening in on YouTube. If you're on our YouTube audio stream, make sure you comment your thoughts on tonight's game in the live chat. I see you guys in there, and thank you to Kevin Smith. You're too kind for your comment. You're too kind. We're having fun here on a Friday night in Ector County Coliseum. Wranglers wearing blue jerseys with white numbers and professional red trim. We'll skate from left to right here in the third period. Jackalopes wearing white jerseys with red, purple, and black trim. We'll skate from right to left in the final frame of regulation. It's Saturdahl against Jacobs to start the third period. See if the Wranglers can close this one out on the second game of a three-game set. We'll be back in action tomorrow, same start time. But for now, third period's underway, and Odessa wins the opening draw. Shea Barry gains the red line, pounds it towards the Wranglers' goal. Boulanger whips it around to O'Donohue on the near half wall. And now has Saturdahl through the neutral zone. Looking for Evshunev. He gets bumped off the puck. And now Odessa has it. They'll turn up ice as Martel sidesteps Saturdahl across the red line as he brushes it to his right for Jacobs. Jacobs to the slot. Gets forced around the net. Has to trade it off to a trailer. That was Caden Giosi, who now gets pinned up by Boulanger in the near corner. Puck leaks free from there. O'Donohue takes it, gets sandwiched by two Jackalopes, but is able to sail it through the neutral zone. And Evshunev trying to drive towards the net to beat out Barry with that loose puck, but Odessa is able to dart it through the neutral zone and now down the left wing. Looks like we have a penalty called to draw a whistle. 56 seconds into the third period, and it's going to go against Odessa. Shea Barry is the guilty culprit. Started the period on the ice. We'll spend the next 2 minutes of it in the penalty box. The Wranglers finally get their first power play of the night. We'll see what they can do on the man advantage. We're held 0 for 3 last night. Two minutes for high sticking on Barry. Wranglers to the man advantage. First power play unit out there. Puck goes between the circles. Phillips chops at it to get the puck to Olesla below the goal line. Jackalopes catapult the puck out of play from there. And so we pause 9 seconds into the Wrangler power play. Phillips again to take the face-off on the near circle. Jackalopes win it back to Richards, who tries to drill it out of the zone. Extra bit of effort from Tavare and Hedquist, and Welburn will start the next charge on the power play from their own end. They quickly outlet to center ice. Oleslov on the move. Rainbows the puck to the near corner. Jackalopes try and barrage the puck out, but Wranglers hold firm. Now at the left point, it's Hedquist. Quickly to the France. At the line, Welburn tried to go back down low, but pass offline, Richards will clear. Fans start a Let's Go Jacks chant, although there's a lot of Wrangler fans in the building, so that chant gets a bit muddled. Very popular with the kids, though. Kids really like that Let's Go Jacks chant. Wranglers having trouble getting out of their own end, and really the key for this Wrangler power play and its recent woes have been zone entries. Trend seems to continue here as though the Wranglers now finally turn up ice. It's Evshunev down the left wing. Takes a shot around the boards. Trying to feed it to Rasega, pinching down. Wranglers go cross ice to Evshunev at the left point. They'll brush it softly to Pipinen. From the line, steers it to Evshunev, creeping down the left wing. He shoots, and I think that hit iron and stayed out. I think Karanji bumped the net off, making that save. Or I should say trying to make that save. I heard a faint ping, and time stops. Put that net back on with 30 seconds left on the Wrangler power play. Face off on the far circle. Wranglers have it, but they turn it over to Giosi. He'll skate it out of the zone And into Wrangler ice. On the left wing, Caden Giosi sneaks his way to the corner. Now has it wiped off of his stick by Pipinen. Maybe one last chance here for the Wranglers in the power play. That's now down to just 12 seconds. Pipinen rolls it up ahead to Larson. On the right wing, connects with Resega. Flying down the right wing, already with a goal tonight. Trying to move it from low to high, but puck escapes the zone in a jumble. And we're back to even strength here in the Permian Basin. So both teams go 0 for 1 on the power play so far here tonight. And it remains a 2-0 Wrangler lead. Richmond will angle the puck in and quickly out of play. Did make its way into the zone, but ended up going into the Wrangler bench. And that one came very close to equipment manager George Escamilla. He's been in the business a long, long time. Knows every single road in the state like the back of his hand. I think that one just missed old George. I think Gerard might have got a piece of it with his glove to save old George there. So everything works out all right. Wranglers win the ensuing face-off. Lupo now on the far wall, twisting and turning, trying to dart out of his own zone, but Jackalopes are making it difficult. There's pressure from the Richmond line, keeping them there for the moment. Miller jolts it to the line. Richards keeps it in. Gets knocked off the puck by Miller. Lupo now lost it to Richards. And the play is whistled dead for a hand pass. Think about the physicality of this Wranglers team. Look no further than this line. Miller, Phillips, and Lupo. You got some big guys out there. Miller, 6'4", 210. Lupo, 6'2", 190. Phillips, 6'4", 215. Yeah, you call that the heavyweight line. Look at those guys laying down the boom in this game. And Restaurants wins the faceoff to Martel, and he sneaks his way to the right corner. Cross-ice feed is picked off by Phillips. Turns up ice. Lifts it to the near corner. Chasing after it with Lupo. Graves gets there first, but turns it over to Miller on the far wall. And Jacob Miller had trouble handling it. 2-on-1 for Odessa. Up ice. Lark to the middle. Esperance couldn't get it to Hammer. Centering feed to Graves. And he scores. Goes 5-hole on Shep Boyster. 1 second under 4 minutes gone by. And Odessa has made it a 2-1 game. And for the Wranglers, that is the thing that you did not want to happen. Chris Graves scores the goal for Odessa, his 4th goal in his 15th game with the Jackalopes since coming over in a trade from Colorado, his 7th of the year. Has finally gotten the Jackalopes on the board. You had to figure it was going to be the Jackalope speed that was going to finally beat Shep Oyster. Now quick blaze. Jackalopes move it cross ice and back the other way. Graves in the slot rips it in for the score. Now we'll see how the Wranglers respond. So now it's just a 1-goal game. Odessa sweeps the puck down behind Shep Oyster. Gathering it for Amarillo is Wellburn. Tries to tap it off the corner wall in hopes of exiting the zone. Instead comes the other way. On the far wing, Resega jolts it up ahead to Wood, and he comes in a hurry. Right wing shot over the goal. Resega wanted the rebound. Makes its way to Izadi in the far corner. Leaves it for Resega there. Emerges on the near side, plays it up top to Wellburn. Will tattoo the puck off the end wall, looking for Wood. Getting a swipe out it is Doyle. Izadi hacking and whacking, trying to get it back. Wood from the right corner takes a shot. It's quickly fought off by Karanji. And now Hedquist absolutely dumps down Tavare. I'm telling you, we've seen some big hits so far tonight. Batilla now back in his own end, serves it up to Arrington. A quick pass, and the Jackalopes are in the zone. Giosi driving down the left wing wall and drills his way to the corner, plays it back to Batilla. Left circle shot, blocked initially by LaFrance, and he's got the rebound on the second attempt. Goes cross ice off the stick of Oleslav. And now the Jackalopes will just flick it back to the Wrangler D pairing, Pipinen and Boulanger. Larson springs it to center circle. Austin Richards gathers it there. He'll rocket the puck to the end wall. Wranglers quickly trying to emerge. Larson is able to stick it down and skate up ice. On a 5-game point streak, delays at the right point, flings it to the goal, and it just goes over the cage. Hit a stick in front of Karanji. Now Larson, another bid from the left side, goes off a stick and wide. Rebound onto the tape of LaFrance. From the right wing, goes to the point for White. His shot jumbles off a couple of bodies to Larson below the goal line. He sets up shop right behind Karanji. Larson on his forehand, shimmies away from the pressure of Arrington. Centers for Oleslav, tries to sneak it in, but Karanji's got it. Not a lot of room there, but we saw a sneaky goal from Oleslav on the Saturday game in Greeley. Sneaky Swedes trying to put the cherry on top of that excellent shift. Karanji the save to keep it out, and with 13:46 left in the third, we'll see a face-off to his left. Face-off is won by the Jackalopes. Puck is stashed to center circle where Richmond gets a touch on it. Jarred away from his stick by White, and now contested at the blue line by O'Donohue and Belsterling. Wranglers are able to strip the puck away. Now Thornton, a shot from the left point, whistles wide of the goal. Now a shot from the right side goes into the glove of Shepoister with 13:17 to go. Feels like this is going to be one of those games where Matt Shepoister is going to be really tested here in the third period, and while he's been excellent so far tonight, I feel like the best is yet to come. I feel like if the Wranglers win this game, it's going to be from a monster third period from 33 in blue. We've definitely seen that from him in his time as a Wrangler. Face off to his left. Snatched up by the Wranglers. Phillips feeds it up ahead. Initially comes back to Jacob Miller and back to Phillips on the near wall. Prod to the head. Lupo skates into it from the near corner. Swats it behind the net to Miller. On his backhand, plays it to the point. Hedquist a bid to the net. Save Karanji. The rebound is put over the goal by Phillips. Very close to being a Wrangler 3-1 lead. Jackalopes ice the puck with 12:39 on the clock. Let's recap what we just saw there. So it was initial kick save by Karanji. Rebound came to Phillips between the circles. Pressure closing in on him. Just tried to put it to the goal. I think it did hit something. Maybe an active Jackalope stick and popped over the cage. But, well, yeah, that's one where you're going to be looking to the rafters and saying, dang it. Wish you had it. Wood, Izadi, and Resega line comes on as Odessa wins another defensive zone draw. Martel projects it off the far wall and into Wrangler territory. Pipinen spits it out to center circle. Izadi can't quite reel it in. And now Barry chucks it down the length of the ice. And what'll be an icing on Odessa. Face-off will be to the left of Karanji. Noah Wood will take this face-off against Jack L'Esperance. Jackalopes win the face-off. Barry with it behind the net. Chucks it to the line, held in by Resega. Izadi on the right wing gets dragged down, shot wide of the net. Rebound to Wood, puts it around the cage to the left point, wanted piping in, but he is forced out to center by Tavare. 8 minutes and change gone by here in the third period. Wranglers with a 2-1 lead after Graves scored for the Jackalopes. Larkey on the left wing wants to center. Wranglers bottle him up. Now at the left point, Doyle walks the line and shoots off a leg and well into the netting behind Shepoister for another stoppage. Both sides exchange words after that whistle. Wranglers get a line change in. Whited and White will be the D pairing. And on comes the Larson-Oleslav pairing with Jake Thornton. So the two Swedes and Thornton playing in his 5th North American Hockey League game will be the forward group for the Wranglers on this next sequence. Jacks win the draw at the point. Fire a shot into traffic. It's blocked by Oleslav on the attempt from Toms. Oleslav getting the body on it. Jackalopes prod the puck back in. Is on the left wing. Bodies collide. Thornton checks Larkey. Odessa keeps the puck. He's below the goal line. Tavare on his forehand. Almost has it knifed away by White. Looks to center. One-time shot. They score. Jordan Larkey has tied the game for Odessa with 11:16 left in the third. So that's back-to-back goals for Odessa. Jordan Larkey gets on the board for the 13th time this season. 4 goals in his last 5 games, and it's a brand new contest as we approach the midway point of the third. It's one of those plays where the Jackalopes stayed strong on the play. They will outwork the Wranglers along the boards in the corner. Centering feed, and very eerily similar to the way that Graves scored. One-timer, just a couple feet at the top of the blue paint, and there's really not much Shepoister can do about that. Ends up in the back of the net, and we're tied at 2. And this is the biggest moment in the Wranglers season right now. They have to find a way to stay resilient and beat out the adversity. 2 goals for Odessa in about the span of 5 minutes to tie the game after the Wranglers had scored a goal in each of the first 2 periods. It's Larkey from Tavare, and we are tied as Walburn plugs the puck into the attacking end. Evzhevnev in the far corner, getting the work, pinned up by Patilla. Able to squirm the puck free is the Jackalope defenseman. Rushes the puck upwards to Gyosi. His centering feed is picked off by Satterdalen. He'll flutter the puck into the attacking end. O'Donohue on his forehand. Dancing to the top of the high slot. Shoots! And that is eaten up and absorbed by Karanji with 10:44 on the clock. And this Jackalope crowd has been brought to life thanks to the goal from Jordan Larkey. Edge here on the latest save from Karanji. Wranglers will send out the Phillips, Miller, and Lupo line. Jackalopes win the defensive zone face-off. They'll fire the puck to the neutral zone. Pipinen has a grasp on it in his own end. Only for a moment, though. Quickly gets back as 2 Jackalopes were pressuring. Getting an active stick on the Finnish defenseman. Now Boulanger with it behind his cage. Again, forced to quickly out with the puck. Turns it over to Richmond. Martell a shot from the line into a screen. And Shepoister is able to get enough of it to make the save. Now it's the Wranglers turn up ice. 3-on-2. Miller, toe drag shot, save. Karanji! And the rebound is loose. Lupo a try. Goes wide of the goal. And Boulanger can't keep it in the zone. Would have been called a hand pass if Miller had touched it. So Martell will keep play moving as the Jackalopes hand possession back to the Wranglers with under 10 minutes left in the third. Pinball puck comes to Graves. Pass to the right wing to Belsterling. Floats into the near corner. Boulanger clanks it up ahead to Phillips. in the neutral zone, whirls the puck into the attacking zone, and will get off for a line change. Hammer stops at the attacking line, drifts towards his right and feeds it that way to Doyle. He'll cast the puck around to the left wing for Graves. From the corner, goes around the net. Graves on his forehand, centers through the slot. Left wing shot by Thornton, blockered away by Shepweister. And the Wranglers send the puck sailing into the first row after it rode up the glass with 9:10 left in the third period. Shot count here in period 3 belongs to the Jacks. They lead that count 6-3. As 2 third period goals from Odessa. First with Graves, second by Larkey, has tied the game up at 2. We're back in just a moment here in Odessa. On the Wranglers Hockey Network on NATV and YouTube, brought to you commercial free this weekend. Thanks to Jimmy Fincher Body Shop, providing auto repair in Amarillo, Texas for more than 40 years. The Wranglers have played an excellent defensive weekend to this point, but a couple of miscues here in the third period have led to 2 one-timer goals from the slot for Odessa to tie the contest up at 2. Wranglers win a defensive zone draw, pound it to the neutral zone. Izadi grabs it in stride. Down the left wing, wants to feed it to Wood, streaking through the middle. Comes back to Izadi for a shot. Rasega in the slot to the goal, and it somehow stays out. He'll center it out in front of Chiarenza. Jackalopes sweep it away, and now White puts it on goal and scores! Anthony White to the back of the net, and the Wranglers have the lead again at 3-2. Might have gotten tipped by Rasega. He was applying pressure in front of Chiarenza. White heads to the bench first. If it is his goal, the Wranglers defenseman will have scored his first goal as a Wrangler. Nonetheless, it's a massive goal. The Wranglers have the lead back after surrendering the last 2. Great effort once again from that Wood, Rasega, Izadi line. Capped off by White. Wranglers have the lead back with 8:46 left in the third. Puck rolls around to the far corner of the Wranglers zone. Odessa now trailing once more, trying to tie the game for the second time tonight. Bodies converge on the end wall. Play slows down to a crawl. Puck escapes to the stick of Olislav. Almost stolen away and stripped by Larkey. Wranglers able to get it back as Welburn backhands it off the end wall to Hedquist. Flubs on the outlet pass, but eventually pinballs to Larson. He'll gain the attacking zone. Delay on the wall. Feed it to the left side, where pinching down is Pipinen. Shovels it to the slot. Jackalopes brush it away. In fact, they whack it all the way down the ice for an icing on Odessa with 7:52 on the clock. The goal does belong to Anthony White. His first as a Wrangler. Comes from Daniel Rasega, who has a goal and assist tonight, and Ty Izadi, who has 2 apples for the Wranglers. And again, that line has been money for the Wranglers here over the last couple of weeks. Izadi now with a 4-point weekend to this point. 2 goals and 2 assists. Wranglers win the offensive zone draw, plug it wide of the net on a shot by Pipinen. Rebound to Pericelli. Evshinev putting on some pressure. Jackalopes able to find a way to weasel free, and they will arc it to the Wranglers zone and get off for a line change. O'Donohue will thump the puck into the attacking zone. Grangi will play it over to the far wall for Toms. Has a man in the middle, and Jacobs bounces to the outside. Jacobs back between the circles, gets rubbed off the puck by the Wrangler defenders. Now Boulanger has it over the red line, prods it to the end wall. He'll head off. On the forecheck is O'Donohue, crunching Thornton for Odessa. Now it's Toms through the neutral zone. Tries to split the D. White steals it away. Anthony White turns up ice. Starting from the back end, drops to Lupo for a shot. Save, Chiarenza. And the rebound is available. Goes onto the stick of Arrington. Has Patilla through the neutral zone. Jackalopes are offside on the zone entry as Jeremy Jacobs was a couple feet ahead. Clock stops with 6:45 to go. Face off in front of the Wranglers bench. Amarillo wins it. Hedquist now with it. Scoots it off the near wall and all the way down. Icing is called, although Phillips got close to beating it out. Good hustle by the captain, but just not enough. This faceoff is coming back down to the Wrangler zone with 6:36 left in regulation. Resega with the goal and assist tonight. Now up to 15 points on the year. With his 10th assist. Ty Izadi now at 2 assists tonight. Up to 7 points as a Wrangler. 3 goals and 4 assists as now the Wranglers ice the puck again. Also, we'll pay another visit to Matt Shepoister. Face-off will be to his left. Best part about these last 2 games is they've been highly entertaining. Yeah, we're not done on the weekend yet. 1 more to go tomorrow night. 7 o'clock pregame show, 7:15 puck drop. We've got it all for you here on the Wranglers Hockey Network on NATV and YouTube. And boy, that should be fun. Wranglers hoping that they're on the winning end here tonight. Puck up for grabs in the neutral zone. Update on the score in New Mexico. It's now a 3-2 game. Jake Casey has scored for the Ice Wolves in the opening moments of the third. But the Grit do still have the lead at 3-2. Meanwhile, here in the Permian Basin, Morley Phillips starts a charge on the right wing. Everybody behind him gets off for a line change, but the captain able to burrow his way to the end wall. Phillips to his forehand centers. Resega gathers it, turns and shoots. Goes off a body and wide. Puck plops down in the near corner. Jackalopes quickly skate away from there. As now on the opposite wing, outlet pass from Barry to Lesbrance. Goes in on goal to Shepoister. He'll freeze it with 5:30 to go. It does not get more dramatic than this. Update in New Mexico. The Ice Wolves have scored. New Mexico has tied the game against Colorado up at 3. Francois de Villiers has scored for New Mexico. The Ice Wolves have come rallying back with 2 goals in the third to tie that game up at 3. The Wranglers getting some help. And lands not too far away. And have taken the lead here in Odessa with the first goal in a Wrangler uniform from Anthony White. Resega in the attacking zone, feeds it to Boulanger. Drive from the right point goes off the end wall to the left wing. Pipinen springs it to Resega, back up to the line. Boulanger's got it, presses it to the left. Izadi fans on the one-timer, and the Jackalopes try and take advantage. They'll pop it up ahead. Buricelli in the far corner. Gets checked by Boulanger. Puck spits up to the line. Cross-ice feed, Doyle a bomb, it's blocked by Izadi. Second try, saves Shepoister, and the rebound to Pipinen. He'll whack it to the left point, but Doyle keeps it in. Goes off his backside a second time. DeVary darts to the right wing, and the puck will escape the zone. 4:36 left in the period. Final 5 minutes are brought to you by Street Toyota. Patilla on the left wing, ships it up ahead. Giosing the attacking end, feeds it to the middle. Jacobs a shot just a couple inches wide of the far post. Odessa tries to center on the rebound. Larson's there for the Wranglers to scoot it out of the zone. We'll keep an eye on Chiarenza here as time winds down and the Jackalopes are down by 1. So we'll see when Scott Dorr is still down by 1. We'll elect to pull him for the extra attacker. Meanwhile, the Jackalopes are in the Wranglers' end. Puck goes to the end wall. White tries to drill it out of the zone. It'll go all the way down for an icing. Oops. Face off to the left of Shep Oyster on the far circle. Jackalopes win the face-off. Barry from the right point. Delays, shoots, rolls off of his stick. Larson lifts it to the line. Belsterling gloves it down to keep it in. Centers for Richmond. Looking for the trailer and Smith. Puck is punched away, and the Wranglers once again clear the zone. Dump and feed from Martel. Hits his zone man, and Belsterling. Wranglers capitalize by snatching possession back. Wranglers blast the puck into the attacking end. France goes off to complete the line change. On is the Yezhignev line. Richmond reels in a pass on the left wing. Throws it across to the right. Belsterling over the attacking line. Bumbles a puck to the near corner for Richmond. Quick pass over to the far wall. Hedquist gets it to the point as Thornton holds it in. From high to low and onto the tape of Welburn in the near corner. Wranglers exit the zone as O'Donohue able to tap it down the near wing. Odessa quickly knocks it back into the glove of Shep Oyster. He'll plop it down to keep play moving with under 3 minutes to go. Wranglers rip the puck out of play with 2:44 to go. We'll see where they put this face-off. Went out of play in the Jackalopes side of the ice, but the initial play was made in the neutral zone, so they're going to put this face-off right at center circle. Miller will take the face-off against Lesperance. Face-off won by Odessa. Jackalopes smash the puck into the Wranglers zone. Karams to Shep Oyster, who shovels it to Pipinen. On the left wing, jolts it up ahead to Lupo. Puck comes out to the neutral zone. Chiarenza still between the pipes. Jackalopes feather it in. Shot from the right wing by Hammer, sticked away by Boulanger in front of Shep Oyster. Wranglers try and knock it out of the zone, and Thornton keeps it in at the right point. Serves it down below the net. Shep Oyster plays it. Pipinen now on the left wing, angles it through the neutral zone. Hits the leg of Doyle. Comes churning towards the benches. Odessa powers it in. Chiarenza still between the pipes, although he's looking for a signal. Jackalopes do not have possession as the Wranglers will plug the puck through the neutral zone. Puck goes behind the net, and it's going to go for an icing on the Wranglers with 1:51 to go. I have to imagine we might see a timeout called here. Scott Dorr's got the whiteboard out for Odessa. Wranglers are ready to start the next sequence, but it does appear that Dorr has called his timeout. Have to imagine that Chiarenza will be pulled for the extra attacker when we resume live action. But the Jackalopes are drawing up a play here, down by 1. Here's how we got here. Wranglers scored the first two, one with 4:47 left in the first period. Yezhignev scored a dandy of a goal. Man, that's highlight reel stuff from Satterdahlin and Winded to make it 1-0 Wranglers. In the second period, Wranglers score 2:16 into period 2 on a stuff-in attempt from Rasega. Then the Jackalopes come rallying back in the third. 2 goals in about 5 minutes. First from Graves, centering feed in the slot. He bangs it in. Similar story on a goal from Larkey 5 minutes later to tie the game up at 2. But the Wranglers do not back down. Shot from the right point from Anthony White. Goes into the back of the net for his first goal as a Wrangler. And to give the Wranglers the lead at 3-2. With 8:46 left in the period, and that is the story so far. Both teams have been to the power play once. Both penalty kills have gotten the stop once. Good night to be a penalty killer. A lot of 5-on-5 action. And so here it is. Net is empty for Odessa. 6-on-5 action. The Wranglers will send out Boulanger, Izadi, Wood, Resega, and Pipinen. Face off to the left of Shep Oyster. Odessa's going with Belsterling, Patilla, Larkey, Tavare, Barry, and Puricelli. Jacks won the face-off. From the right point, Barry creeps down the wall. Darts below the circle, feeds it to the middle. Tavare holds and shoots. Shep Oyster to save the rebound. They score! The Jackalopes have tied it at 3 with 1:44 to go. All 3 Jackalope goals have come near the blue paint. We'll find out who gets it in just a moment. It was a scramble for it. Shep Oyster made the initial save. The rebound was available. Odessa crashed the crease. Just about every single guy on the ice converged to the blue paint. Ends up in the back of the net. The Jackalopes' gamble pays off. They pull the netminder, get the extra attacker, draw it up to perfection. And Scott Doors, Odessa Jackalopes, have tied it at 3. Nicholas Puricelli gets credited with the goal. Tavare the assist. Six-on-5 action. He scores the goal on it. Now we're back to 5-on-5 with Chiarenza back between the pipes, all tied up at 3. Tavare over the red line into Wrangler territory. Jackalopes are offside with 1:31 to go. .91 seconds on the clock. Shot count in the third period reads 10-7 in favor of Odessa. Total count in the game 29-25 in favor of Odessa. Neutral zone face-off goes to the Jackalope defenders. It is Patilla being forced off the puck by O'Donohue. Satterdahlin thumps it over to the far wall. Wanted edged out, but the Jackalopes get in front. The whack it to Shep Oyster. Now over on the near wing, it's O'Donohue. Turning up ahead. Wranglers are offside with 1:02 to go. Nicholas Puricelli's 4th goal of the season has tied this game in dramatic fashion. Odessa lifts the puck into their own bench with 57.2 to go in regulation. We've learned in the past to not speak of anything past regulation until we actually get there. Of course, I'm citing the August Klassen incident at the Budweiser bullpen a couple weeks ago, where the Brahmas scored a late goal with about 48 seconds left in the game to win it and deny the Wranglers a standing point, which they certainly could use right now. And a discussion going on here in the neutral zone between our officiating trio. After tonight, 4 games will remain on the schedule for the Wranglers. 1 more here in Odessa tomorrow. 7 o'clock pregame show, 7:15 puck drop. 2 against the Oklahoma Warriors at home on Friday and Saturday, and then on Sunday, final day of the regular season, Wranglers will host the Colorado Grit at 6 p.m. Wranglers to the neutral zone, 2-on-2. Phillips from the right wing shoots off the leg of Richards. Puck goes behind the net. Phillips fighting to try and get it back. 43 seconds to go. Odessa gets it to the line, and carrying it out is Arrington. Puck jumbles off a skate. Lupo's got it. darts to the left wing, holds and shoots. Pad save, Chiarenza, and the rebound to Miller. 25 seconds left on the clock. Jacobs on his forehand, slips it up to Giosi. To the opposite wing, connects with Arrington, pops it to the goal. Shep Poyster fights it off and freezes with 14.8 on the clock. In the meantime, taking a peek at the Land of Enchantment, Ice Wolves and Grit are tied up at 3. Same as we are here in the Permian Basin. Yeah, we're not so different, us and them. Similar story, different venue. Face off on the far circle. Odessa's won it. Barry at the right point. Takes a shot. It's blocked by Rasega. Puck comes back out to the neutral zone. That block pretty much guarantees us overtime. Battle in front of the scores table. Regulation comes to a close. We are headed to 3-on-3 overtime in Odessa. The Wranglers and the Jackalopes are headed to overtime. Wranglers last played in overtime not too long ago. In fact, just last week. Twice in Greeley, Colorado on Friday and Saturday. Both ended with a final score of 4-3. However, the Wranglers won the first night and lost the second night. First night, the Wranglers won on Alexander Aleslov's absolutely cinematic overtime winning goal, and then lost the next night with Sheldon Rue getting the game winner for Colorado. Wranglers this season in overtime, very good record, 5-2 in OT, 3-1 in overtime games on the road. That lone loss in Greeley, Colorado ruined the Wranglers' perfect record of overtime games on the road. But the Wranglers very formidable in extra time. Meanwhile, for Odessa, this is a Jackalopes team that likes to use their speed to their advantage. We're going to see a lot of open ice here in overtime, so you have to figure that Odessa would fare quite well in those situations. But what we do know to this point, Matt Shep Poyster for the Wranglers has stopped 26 of 29. There is Chiarenza for Odessa, 23 of 26 through regulation. And we'll see who each coach sends out to start overtime. The last time the Jackalopes played in overtime, I'm going to go all the way back to December 13th. In this building against Corpus Christi, they lost 5-4 in overtime. Jackalopes have 4 overtime losses this season, and I don't think Odessa's won a game in overtime this year. Just doing a quick scan of the notes. 4 overtime losses. They have won a couple in shootouts. Looks like they have 2 shootout wins. So Jackalopes are 2-0 in the shootout, but looks like they are 0-4 in overtime this season. But, I mean, as we all know throughout the years, anything goes in overtime. 1 bounce, 1 shot. That's all it takes for it to end. And a very, very lengthy intermission between the end of regulation into overtime. Probably the longest that I've seen. But we're approaching it up. We're approaching it. Coming on up. And we'll see who both squads go with. For the Wranglers, it looks like it's going to be Saturdalen, Evshugnev, and Pipinen. For the Jackalopes, it's Tavare, Larkey, and Batilla. So at the point here tonight, the Wranglers at least get up to 48. Odessa at 51. Wranglers are now 5 points back of Colorado for the final spot in the South Division. As a quick check at the score in Albuquerque, sees that that game is still tied. And for us, overtime is on the docket. Satterdahlin against Larkey at the dot. Opening possession belongs to Odessa. Braden Patilla back pedals between the circles of his own zone. Looks upwards and connects with Tavare on the left wing. Tavare defended by Pipenin. Tries to feed it to the slot. Hit Pipenin's leg. Came to the corner and Satterdahlin tries to weasel away, but Tavare quick to get the puck back. Odessa throws a quick reverse play through center. Over the attacking line is Larkey. Darts towards his right and shoots. Shepboister on a low line drive makes the save. And the rebound is collected by Pipenin on the near side. Checked out the puck by Tavare. Jackalopes get a change behind the scenes as the puck comes to the slot for Patilla, and he fires wide. Now the Wranglers have a chance to outlet. Pipenin grabs it on the right wing. He's got some space. Pipenin to the slot. Knifed away by Patilla. And his outlet pass to Smith just glanced off of his stick. 1 minute gone by in overtime. Wranglers have the puck. It's Larson, 2-on-1 with Oleslav. Larson shoots, save, Chiarenza. William Larson put together a fantastic play to feed Oleslav, the game winner 1 week ago in Greeley. This time decided to take the chance for himself. Chiarenza is able to absorb it and keep play rolling. 3:53 left in overtime. Larson will take this face-off. Oleslav to his left, Boulanger to his right. The Esperance, the opponent at the dot. Larson's won the face-off. Puck comes out of the zone. Oleslav will tap it to Boulanger. They'll go behind the net, quickly pressured by Hammer. Boulanger swings out to the left wing. Up ahead, puck is knocked away. Boulanger has to scramble to get it back as Hammer was there trying to pounce on it. Boulanger does get there as he feeds it to the left wing for Larson. Meets Hammer at the end wall. Everybody else is there except for Boulanger, who's stationed at the blue line as the Jacks turn up ice. It's Barry darting down the left wing. On his backhand, goes around the net, swerves to his forehand in the far corner. Gets dumped down with Boulanger, puck is available. Comes to the slot, poked away by Larson, just away from the Esperance. And now Boulanger will wait behind Shepboister. 2 minutes gone by in overtime. He'll go ahead and offer a line change as on comes O'Donohue, Resega, and White. Daniel Resega takes it. Tried to motor down the right wing, got stood up the first time. Now he picks up speed on the right wing. Feeds it to O'Donohue. Toe drag shot. Save Chiarenza. Resega was there for the rebound, but he couldn't grab it. Odessa up ice. Pass was offline to Richards, and Odessa ices the puck with 2:33 to go in OT. And a couple miscues for Odessa here so far in overtime. If they just connected on one of those stretch passes, the game is probably over. Would have had maybe a 2-on-1, 2-on-0, some kind of very favorable line rush, but instead it's a Wrangler face-off victory on the left wing. Evshivnev bottled up by Richards and Jacobs. Puck ends up on the stick of Gyosi. Caden Gyosi with it. Knocks it off the far wall to Richards. Jackalopes are offside on the zone entry. Clock stops with 2:13 on it. Ice Wolves and Grit are still tied at 3. Larson, Oleslav, and Pipenin come back on for this next sequence. Pericelli, Toms, and Arrington are the 3 for Odessa as the Jackalopes have it off the face-off to the right of Chiarenza. Arrington will wait behind the net. Under 2 minutes left in overtime. Swinging out on the left wing is Graves with the goal so far tonight. Comes up ahead for a shot. Bad save, Shepboister. The rebound to Oleslav. He turns up ice with Larson. 2-on-1, Arrington defending. Larson in the middle, can't reel in the pass. And Odessa survives. He can cut the tension with a knife. Here comes Toms on the left wing, shoulders away the pressure, darts to the slot, and Shepboister took away the angle. Toms lost the puck. It's up for grabs in the far corner. Boulanger's there for the Wranglers. Able to tip it to O'Donoghue. Wranglers turn up ice. Rasega takes it in on the left wing. Holds, shoots, save Chiarenza, the rebound, O'Donoghue, shut down by Chiarenza. Now it's the Jacks' turn. 2-on-1 up ice. Right side shot, Taveri couldn't get it off. Boulanger the play, he turns up ice. On the right wing, wants to feed it to the middle. Ping pongs back to him, gets dumped down by Taveri, but he gets back up with 52 seconds left in overtime. 45 seconds waiting behind his own net is Patilla. He'll leave it for Smith. He turns up ice, loses the puck, and Satterdahl has it on the right wing, shoveled away by Chiarenza. Jacks lifted to the neutral zone, developing 2-on-1. Satterdahl gets back to make it a 2-on-2. Not going to matter because a good play by Anthony White gets the puck back for the Wranglers. 20 seconds to go. Evchignev looks up ice, carries it over the red line, lugs it over Jackalope Blue, feeds it to the left. White feeling pressure, trying to get the puck back. White leaves it, Satterdahl skates in and shoots, it's blocked! Sprawling out was Smith, 3 seconds to go, and that'll do it for overtime. We are headed to a shootout. Incredible. We're headed to a shootout here in the Permian Basin. Been a long time since the Wranglers played in the shootout. Last time the Wranglers played in a shootout, they lost to the Lone Star Brahmas on December 27th. 5-4 was the final score, and what a wild game that was at the Budweiser bullpen. In shootouts this season, the Wranglers are 2-3. We'll see what they can put together here. We'll see who shoots first. What a wild game, folks. Absolute cinema. Meanwhile, Ice Wolves and Grit are going to overtime, so that means that the Wranglers picking up a point here tonight was huge in the playoff race, as Colorado earns one as well. Wranglers are now hoping that New Mexico takes care of business in overtime and that they can win this one here in the shootout. As to this point, both netminders have put on quite the display. Chiarenza stopping 27 of 30. Shepboister 28 of 31 to this point. Wranglers were credited with 4 shots in overtime. The Jackalopes with 2. Wranglers with 30 shots on the board. Jackalopes with 31 through 65 minutes. So Odessa outshoots them by 1. And now it's Matt Shepboister's time to shine. Got 1 minute to go until the shootout. Oh, no, looks like we're starting right now. Buckle up. Hold on to your hats. Wranglers shoot first. Trevor O'Donoghue gets the call. O'Donoghue playing in his 4th North American Hockey League game has a chance to make magic happen in the Permian Basin. O'Donoghue quickly picks it up, moves to the left side. He's a righty shooter between the circles, shoots, stopped by Chiarenza. A lot of confidence on that try from O'Donoghue, but it would not go. And now Odessa will get their first crack at it. Jeremy Jacobs gets the nod from Scott Doer, hops over the bench. He's a lefty shooter, picks up the puck, and heads that way. On the left wing, cuts between the circles and shoots and scores. Went 5-0 on Shepweister, and the Jackalopes have a 1-0 edge through the first round. Alexander Oleslov, the next shooter for the Wranglers. Second game as an alternate captain. Oleslov for the Wranglers. A lefty shooter. Will carefully pick it up and creep towards the right wing. Moves to the middle. Oleslov will shoot. Stick save, Chiarenza. Now the Jackalopes will have a chance to win the game. Shepweister has to make a stop to keep the Wranglers alive. We'll see who gets the nod for Odessa. It is going to be Caden Giosi. Giosi is a lefty shooter. Picks it up. Drifts towards his left. Gains the circle, comes to the middle. Giosi backhand shot. He's denied by Shepweister. Kicks out the left pad. And now the Wranglers have to score to keep the shootout going. Kirill Evshignev will be the shooter for the Wranglers. Had the first goal in the contest. Highlight reel stuff. Let's see if he can add some more to his tape. Can he engineer a goal for the Wranglers here? Evshignev with speed. He's a lefty shooter. Comes between the circles and shoots. Blocker save, Chiarenza, and the Jackalopes win it 4-3 in the shootout. Odessa takes it 4-3 in the shootout. Sensational effort from the Wranglers. Not enough to pick up the extra points. Odessa's up to 52. Colorado at 54. Amarillo at 48. We'll talk about what it all means when we wrap this one up on the postgame show when we come back in 1 minute here to the Permian Basin. Once again, your final score, Odessa 4, Amarillo 3. Final in a shootout. We're back in one moment on the Wranglers Hockey Network on NATV and YouTube, presented by Hooters. Odessa able to somehow squirm away from this game with 2 points in their back pocket. They take this by the final score of 4-3 in the shootout. Back and forth game, no shortage of drama. And Odessa able to squeeze free. Final in overtime at Outpost Ice Arenas. The Colorado Grit win 4-3 in overtime. So, a disappointing night. Gets a little bit worse. Colorado now with 2 more standing points in their back pocket. They now boost their lead on the Wranglers with that win, up to 55 points. Odessa now at 52, and Amarillo at 48. So the Wranglers are now 7 points back of the playoff picture. Odessa keeps pace with Colorado with their victory. And the Wranglers are not mathematically eliminated, but the Wranglers with 4 games left and at 48 points, their ceiling is 56, which means with 3 more Colorado points, the Wranglers would be mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. And with that, let's get to the scoring recap here, and then we'll talk about what this all means. So, Wranglers open the scoring with 4:47 left in the first period. Kirill Evshignev scores a highlight reel goal. Sensational stuff. Engineers a beautiful goal, taking in a lob pass from Satterdalen on the left wing. Cuts to the slot, backhand shot beats Karanji. Beautiful, beautiful. Wranglers had a 1-0 lead through 20. Wranglers had a 2-0 lead through 40 as Daniel Resega scores 2:16 into the second period to make it 2-0 Wranglers. And then the trouble starts in the third period. It happens. 3:59 into the period. Chris Graves scores on a one-timer in the slot to make it 2-1 Wranglers, and then he ties the game up then the Jackalopes tie the game up on a similar style goal, one-timer from the slot on a goal from Jordan Larkey with 11:16 to go in the third. But the Wranglers did get the lead back. 8:46 left in the third. Anthony White puts in his first goal as a Wrangler from Resega and Izadi to make it a 3-2 Wrangler lead. That would be squandered with a 6-on-5 goal with the Jackalope net empty, scored by Nicholas Puricelli to tie the game up at 3 and send us to overtime, which was not enough, so we went to a shootout. O'Donohue doesn't score for the Wranglers. Jacobs does, and then everyone else afterwards does not score, meaning Odessa wins the shootout 1-0 through 3 rounds, and the Jackalopes win the hockey game by the final score of 4-3. Grit now are up to 55 points with their overtime victory in New Mexico, so the Ice Wolves do not help the Wranglers out there. Wranglers do pick up the standing point to get to 48, but with 4 games left, their ceiling is now 56. Excuse me, wait, hang on. I got to do more math on the air. Remember, I don't call these games because I'm good at math. So, the Wranglers, 48 points, 4 games to go, 8 possible points left on the table. Yep, their ceiling is 56. So, Colorado now, 55 points, 4 games left. Yeah, it's not looking very good. Odessa at 52 points, still lurking around in the playoff picture. Yeah, Wranglers need it's a must-win for the Wranglers from here on out. And Colorado needs to do a lot of losing. And it doesn't help that these two teams, Odessa and Colorado, play each other for a 2-game set here next weekend. So the Wranglers' playoff hopes are on life support right now. But, hey, we've seen crazier things happen. And Wranglers are getting some depth scoring right now. Daniel Resega with a goal and assist here tonight. Ty Izadi with 2 assists. Noah Wood keeps his point streak alive. Goes to 3 games, 1 goal and 2 assists in that span. Resega, 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 3. Izadi, 2 goals and 2 assists on the weekend. Can't count him out. We won't count him out. We'll do it all again tomorrow night here at the Jack Shack, Ector County Coliseum. Wranglers and the Jackalopes, 7 o'clock pregame show. 7:15 puck drop, and for all of you on YouTube, let's take one last gander at the South Division standings. That came from earlier in the night, so for those of you that are watching there, you can see Colorado now up to 55. Odessa now up to 52. Amarillo gets 1 point bump to 48. So the Grit at 55 with 4 games left to go have the potential to achieve 8 more points. They can get to 63. Odessa with 3 games left have a maximum of 6 more points left at 52. They can get to 58. And the Wranglers with 4 games left with 48 points, have 8 more points left on the table. The highest point total that they can get to is 56. So not getting both standing points here tonight definitely throws a wrench in things, because 2 more Colorado points pretty much seals the deal and would mathematically eliminate the Wranglers from playoff contention. A lot to think about tonight. Stinks for the Wranglers because they actually played a really good game. Valiant Odessa comeback puts the Wranglers' playoff hopes on life support. Once again, your final score: Odessa 4, Amarillo 3, final in a shootout. That'll wrap things up here from the Permian Basin. We'll do it all again tomorrow. It'll be a lot of fun. Hope to see you there on NATV or YouTube. I'm Guy Chiarenza saying good night and so long from Ector County Coliseum. And we'll hope to see you back again tomorrow for a Saturday night showdown between these two South Division rivals in the regular season series finale between Amarillo and Odessa. Good night, everyone.